All right, this is Mike, and Liz is back. So this is going to be very, very exciting. We'll start with the Lord's Prayer, and we'll go from there. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right, it is Amazon Q&A time, and Liz Danger Girl Herrera is back. This is going to be extremely exciting. Liz, are you there?
Heck yeah, I'm here. I'm excited to be back. Tough time in China for a little while there. I actually caught a cold at the tail end, so it's not that exciting towards the end, but I still kind of went out to the fair every single day, so
Yes.
that's why it explains the voice.
Hashtag Blue Devils. All right, well, let's pour in some stickers for Liz to definitely welcome her back and give her your favorite sticker. We have a lot of stickers already in here, so welcome back, Liz Herrera. And then let's see, let me try to find a devil sticker for her. Got that devil dog. There's a devil dog. What other devils do we have? We got some other devils in there. They should have a blue devil in here, Liz. We need to petition.
Yeah, that's right. They should have one, especially after winning that title.
Heck yeah. Cotton was saying he was playing around when we were on the assimilation webinar. By the way, this last week's assimilation webinar, Liz, did you see there were almost 2,900 comments?
That is so sick.
I was thinking about it. Like, there's pretty much few, like, because I went over and I was looking on the, Avengers just came out this week, and I went over and I was like looking at, and by the way, this is in the pinned the pinned post section for anybody who doesn't know. There's Susan McDowell. We might have to bring her on in a little while. But I was looking at they just announced Captain America: Civil War, which is basically like Avengers 2.5 or whatever, that'll be coming out. And there was like a lot of likes for it. It was on Facebook as a big Marvel public announcement, but there was really only like 100 or 200 comments. But there's just so much action inside of OMG. I mean, there's just so much kind of enthusiasm, and people are really into it, really engaged, and I love that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Mike. I kind of like feed off the energy, like when people get excited, it gets me like sort of excited to share things with people. So
yeah,
I kind of agree with you, 100%.
Yeah. Oh man, the little dog is singing for you. Neural. Good one. Kathy Ann Bates has got a good one. Well, listen, everybody, we're literally very excited. This is as advertised. This is our Amazon Q&A with me and Liz Herrera. And actually, I believe that we are actually going to be joined by Jack Harvell a little bit later on. Jack is helping a friend through a little bit of a difficult time right now, or quite a difficult time right now. But he's still going to jump in and join us, so that's going to be exciting. We'll welcome Jack in if he can make it. We hope that he can, and of course, him and his family and his friend's family are in our prayers. And we're doing this Q&A event. This is the post. Did you like the poster this week, by the way, Liz?
Yeah, it's really sick. I can't even draw a stick figure, so I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I couldn't draw this either. I actually did a little tutorial with Joe Marfolio on how I made up this poster because he wanted to know how I did it. But that's probably not so much of an Amazon Q&A thing. But anyways, that's that's what we've got for this week. And this is our thread, our kind of official thread inside of the OMG NHB team Facebook group. Dive in to the pin post, and you can at least express your love with stickers. See if you can find some love here. Ooh, coffee. You guys got coffee. I like coffee. And you can also buy Liz a beer. Liz actually drinks hard cider. She's more of a. Actually, in Hong Kong, we had pretty good hard cider in the hotel.
They did. They had excellent hard cider. Yeah, it was really good. I think that's part of the reason too. I wound up sick, so I'm gonna lay off the hard cider for a while.
All right. No, it's all right. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've got a Saturday morning mimosa right in my hand, so that's reality. If we could get Bun Jin on, we could get her a mimosa, and we could get tons of secrets out of her.
Definitely.
Actually, let me check the audience to see if Kev is randomly any stowaways. I'd love for Kev to come on. We gotta get Kev to come on. That guy's so brilliant.
Yeah, we'll get him on here in a couple weeks. Oh, I like the Tracy's sticker. That's badass.
Oh yeah, Liz is easily bribable with Blue Devils. And I'll just tell you this right now, guys. Just go out there, find your Blue Devils, and stick them right in there, and it's going to be exciting. So I'm watching the audience for stowaways. I see we got Susan Ann McDowell stowing away, so we're probably going to
I
break.
see Ty. I think I see Ty on here. I'm not sure.
If I see Ty on, all right,
Ty was with
I
us
may
in
have to
China.
make some. She is on. All right, I'm gonna make her a panelist, and I'm gonna make Susan Ann McDowell a panelist too, because well, Ty was with us in China, and Susan McDowell's always with us in heart. You know, her heart's always with us. So let's make both of them panelists, and maybe they'll chime in here and there as we talk about stuff. Let me find Ty. Are you there? I hate to put you on the spot, but I just made you a panelist randomly. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? I don't have the best reception.
You sound great. I'm so glad
Oh,
you joined us, Ty.
okay. I'm excited. My first OMG Live. Great.
Yeah. Did you enjoy China?
Very, very much so. I'm so excited. And I got a lot of things that I'm working on. Very much, very, very excited.
Very cool. And you actually got to participate in our little field trip as well. We may actually talk about that a little bit during this event. And Susan Ann McDowell, are you there? Susan looks like she's muted. Susan?
I am here. I am here.
Susan.
Beautiful day. Glad to be here.
So isn't it great? Liz is back.
Oh, I miss Liz so much. It is so great having Liz back.
Great. Liz is back. Let's get a hashtag Liz is back. Hashtag Liz is back. Once I get, we've got almost 150 people on. Once I get 200 hashtag Liz is backs, we'll continue on. No, that's the kind of thing that Cobb would say. But I want at least dozens of hashtag Liz is backs because Liz is back, and that's just exciting. Also, it's nice when we have all this activity in the OMG NHB Facebook group. It helps notify other OMGers, hey, wait a second, something's going on. And then they realize and they jump in, and it just gets, to know the ways we'll end up with. Okay, so Liz and I talked about this, and really our minds have really been on product getting. And that's a lot of people are asking about product getting right now. That's been a big topic. People are excited about it. So give us a hashtag product getting if it's cool with you, if we keep today's Q&A a little more focused on product getting. Of course, there's other topics out there that people want to know about. Wow, there's some really good level ones on here. John Lilly in here. Yeah, here's another one. Lots of hashtag Liz is back. All right, so let's get a hashtag product getting, and all right. A little bit of feedback there from Ty. So Ty just temporarily muted you, but I believe you can unmute yourself at any time. Okay, so actually I'll unmute you. All right, great. All right, so Ty's unmuted. Okay, so listen, Liz, product getting, there's a lot of quote unquote PAT formulas out there. I actually, for those of you who haven't yet taken advantage of the OMG Breakthrough Blueprint, you can email me at omg@omgmachines.com to get that. And I actually did a write-up while Liz was, after I got back, before Liz got back, and it's about 100 pages in, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't exactly know where it is. Probably around 110 pages in. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I created a little OMG Amazon section. This is just some best practices that we've picked up, some things that I know, and some things that Liz has explained to me, some things that Jack's explained, some stuff from Susan and from Mattson, from Kev, a bunch of different OMGers, ideas contributed in this. And, Liz, ultimately, conversion and handling the day-to-day, the infrastructure, the reordering, all that stuff, it's important, but really I've come to believe that Amazon is really a matter of picking the right product and getting traffic to it. And those, if you can do those two things, you're really so far ahead that you're pretty much going to have success. Does that seem like a reasonable premise to start off with?
Right. It sort of really depends, Mike, on like your budget. And a lot of people, when they start off, they don't really have like a huge budget. So you can really go after any product you want as long as you have a big enough budget. But you have to sort of understand that. So like when somebody first starts, it's a lot more beneficial when they go after a product where they go after the product and they get the traffic, and it's not really like a high traffic product, because the higher the traffic the product is, the more money you're going to have to put into it in order to make it work out. So yeah, it's sort of like the most important thing, especially when you're first starting out. As you gain more experience, you sort of learn what it's going to take to actually push a product that sells a lot more units per day. But when you first start, it's sort of important, not only just from a standpoint of how much money or how much of a budget it's going to require, but also from a standpoint of confidence, which I think is the number one thing that people often overlook, is when you gain that confidence that you're able to sell a product. That makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, so getting one product up, even if it's only making a sale every other day or whatever, it just, like, once you've done it and you've seen yourself do it, it's sort of like in SEO. The first time you actually make a website, just even get on page 1 or page 2 of Google, and you know that you did it, it's like, whoa, it really like breaks down the barriers of intimidation.
Absolutely. So it's just no different in product getting. When you get that one product and you start selling, like, say, one a day, that's like you're at one a day and you're like, wow, I can actually do this. This is actually a workable model. So at that point, it becomes a matter of like, is the product that I selected, is it can it actually sell more, or do I need to get another product going? And that's why it's so important, if you actually pick the right product right out of the gate and you start getting several sales on that product per day, it can make like all the difference in the world.
Terrific, terrific. Well, one of the things I put down in the breakthrough blueprint, there's a couple of systems out there. I call these kind of pat formulas, and by pat in this case, like the phrase down pat, I sort of mean something that, of course, it's something that's pat. If it works, that's great. But in this case, it's really not that duplicatable. So the two pat formulas that are out there for Amazon traffic and conversion. One of them, and I'm not lampooning these things, I'm not saying that they can't work, especially if you get help from somebody like Jason Fladley or something like that. They certainly can work, and we've seen them work, but they may be more of an uphill struggle, and we might be able to be much more strategic right from day one. And that's what we want to do. We want to be more strategic. We want to really have an overwhelming advantage. So probably the biggest quote unquote pat formula out there is go pick a top 100 BSR product, maybe within some sort of cost constraints, maybe something that in the $20 to $30. I'm just picking something at random. I'm just saying. So pick a top 100 BSR bestseller ranked product, private label it, have it be in the $20 to $30 range, and then get friends and family to review it. So this is a pat formula that maybe 3 or 4 years ago probably would have worked pretty great. Now, still, I believe that Liz's strategic method for doing things would still have worked even better, even back in the day. But when there was a lot less competition on Amazon, when there was less people in the internet marketing world vying for the different positions, then picking a top 100 BSR product that was in a certain price category, let's say 20 to 30 bucks. I'm just kind of picking something out of the blue on that, and then getting friends and family to review it would have gotten you a long way. But nowadays, one of the things that Mandy actually said to me, Liz, when she was on her way back from, because she was thinking about trying to get even more resources, reviewing resources for OMG. I think she really enjoyed the trip to Hong Kong and China as well. Mandy actually said that her and top reviewers like her, for example, have enough silicone baking mats to like pave their driveways.
Right.
Because so many people go out and they're like, oh, this fits the pat formula. Silicone baking mat. It's a top 100 BSR, and I'll private label it. I'll put my sticker on it, and anybody who has a silicone baking mat, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying that you've done anything wrong. I'm just saying that this in 2015, that may not be the best formula moving forward. Liz, what's going to happen if I go out and like let's say if I go to Amazon and I pick out a silicone baking mat, um, and I just stick a private label. Like let's just say this, like I look at this one right here or this one right here. I say, okay, it's $20. It's a presumably this is a top 100 BSR, pretty highly ranked product, and I stick a private label on it, and then I ask my friends and family to review it. What am I generally going to run into? What's going to happen for me?
Well, it's going to be really difficult to get anywhere near the top. I would even say maybe the way people are doing it, like maybe even 10 pages, it would be so difficult to get on there because, I mean, silicone baking mats, even though they're in the top 100 and they do sell well, I mean, they have a ridiculous amount of reviews, and as a result of that, they sell quite a bit a day. So in order to actually get moved up, even on page one, I would imagine you'd have to give away possibly even 400 or 500 units. I think probably even more. I really haven't looked at the niche because I know that the kitchen niche is really competitive. So I would imagine at some point you'd have to have given away 600 plus. So it's not a really good situation to be in. And it sort of actually reminds me, I don't know if we can ever get Nicole on here, but at one point, I know, Mike, you know who I'm talking about, Nicole Lalonde.
Yeah.
But when she first showed me the products she was going to go after, they were all really bad, and I sort of told her, you know what, don't go after any of these. Get me another list based on this criteria. And when she came back, she had a list of like maybe 5 different things, and I basically like picked out the product she should go for. And on the first day that she actually had it listed with no reviews, no nothing else, she sold 8 units.
Yeah, I remember we were actually in Vegas when she went on sale, and she was so excited. She was through the roof. And so what you did was you picked something strategic, and this silicone baking mat might have been literally on her first list of things to go for. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it was the kind of thing that you would kind of stumble into. And by the way, Liz, you broke the rules of the PAT formula when you said you'd give away 500 or 600, because unless you have some massive Italian family like Joe Marfolio, you couldn't give away 500 or 600 silicone baking mats to like Aunt Edna and Uncle Hong Kong Larry, and you couldn't. It's not possible. Like again, you'd have to have like the biggest Italian family in the world. Be giving away to your third cousin twice removed, Eddie, and stuff like that. That literally wouldn't even be in play. So the point is, if I bought let's say 1,000, let's say the MOQ minimum order quantity was 1,000 baking mats. Let's say they cost me whatever, $3 a piece, or $5. I don't know what the number is, but let's say it was $3 a piece to get them here. So I blew $3,000 on silicone baking mats, or maybe the MOQ is 2,000. So now I've blown like $5,000 on inventory. I've got 2,000 silicone baking mats. They're at, maybe I got them over to Amazon and they're private labeled and this and that. And now I go to friends and family. I mean, how many people out there can even think of 25 people to give it away to? I mean,
right.
20 reviews from friends and family, and this means that you're pestering, your brother-in-law, and you're pestering your mom. Oh, mom, put this review on, and she's like, "What's the Amazon?" You're like, I mean, it's like, so if you even wind up with 20 reviews from your friends and family, to me, that would be a huge number. So what's going to happen? I mean, how can it be? Like, what would 20 reviews get us from these silicone baking mats?
It's not really going to get us much. And one person you can actually ask is Susan, because we were just talking about this. There's really like a lot of products now that are so saturated that it's hard to actually even give them away. And it's difficult to even have somebody take one for free, and even harder to get them to take one for $1. So you can ask her, because she has firsthand experience in having to do like giveaways. But people are now not wanting to take certain products. So you can imagine if they're not wanting to take them, how difficult it's becoming to get reviews from these people on products like this.
Well, that's true. It's not just Mandy and the top 10 reviewers that don't want to see these. It is down in the top 10,000, top 25,000 reviewers. I had somebody who wanted to give away 60 vegetable spiralizers last week. It took me 4 days, and I was able to give away 58 for him. And I have a pretty big list. But then on the other hand, I had some products that I wouldn't have even thought of selling that people wanted to give away 200. They went in 2 hours. I could have given away lots more. And it's really helped their ranks. So the saturated market is tough unless you have something unique with your product. And unfortunately, the silicone baking mats, the quality, if you look at the page there, Artisan and Silpat are both made by the same company. They cost to anyone doing under 10,000 about $8 each, so there's no way you can compare.
So
The other companies all make sort of knockoffs that aren't the same quality, and you can get those cheaper, but you're not going to be able to do anything with them. So you can't do anything unique
I
with it.
radically underestimated the price there. So
That was my first product, Mike. I fell in love. Luckily, before I ordered it, I did my research, but when I started in ASM, I fell in love, just like so many do, with silicone baking nets. And I thank God every day that I didn't push buy.
Yeah, and listen, guys, just so you know, I'm not here to sit around beating up on ASM. I have no interest in that, especially if you came into ASM through Jason Gladley, and he's going to give you a big advantage and so forth. But like we have a little bit of a different formula here, and we think that if you'll listen to us, if you'll listen to Liz and what Susan's saying, and you know, maybe we can get, I believe Jack's going to be coming on. I really believe that we're going to be able to rocket you ahead and help you, because Liz, your first two products, you followed more of like a PAT formula, like what we were just talking about, and I'm gonna get to the second kind of PAT formula in a second. And you ultimately did sell through, but what happens? You know, it took you like 6 months to sell through, and the thing is, in a business where you're selling hard goods, then cash flow really matters, and that's one of the things I really talked about in the breakthrough blueprint. Look, this is not like doing SEO client consulting where you're operating at like 90%, 95% profit margins, and you're just, you know, basically selling information, right? Like where everything is profit. With Amazon, you're sinking, you know, time is money, you know, or yeah, I mean, money is money. Money is time, right? I mean, Liz, it literally is very important to you. Like you don't want to have, you know, $20,000 tied up in inventory that's moving slow. Why is that?
Right. It's just because the opportunity that having that money makes available to you, you can put that money into a product that's going to turn really quickly. So it's kind of a drag to have it in a product that's not moving. So it's sort of like just a really bad situation. Like even people like me come around Christmas time, I have cash flow problems because I'm trying to put as much money and pump as much money possible into Christmas as I can, because of the fact that you get a huge return come Christmas time. So literally by having that money tied up in, say, like for 6 months, you could have already turned it maybe twice and then reinvested that come Christmas time, which is like really huge. So it's just not a real good situation to be in when you have money tied up in something and you can't move it. It's almost better at some point where you have to make a decision to actually lose money. So I know a lot of people have a difficult time kind of realizing that, but there's some points when you have it tied up where, let's say you can't, like you put all that you had into a product and it turns out it's just not moving and it's not the right product. A lot of times it's better to lose, say, 1,000 or two, or however, it depends on how much money you tied up into it, but it's sometimes better to lose a percentage of what you originally invested in it in order to actually put that money into something else that is going to move, and then sort of like you're starting at a negative, but at the same time, you know, there's going to be stuff that you're not going to be able to sell. So that's something that a lot of people have to consider, and it's one of the most difficult things that you can actually have to do.
All right, great. I want to do an illustration of this, and I believe, and this is a little bit conceptual for me at the moment, but I believe we're going to be able to pull this off. What I want to do is compare $1,000 and $1,000, and look at because I think that one of the things that will happen for people is they'll underestimate the importance of cash flow, and it'll really screw them over. Do you see a lot of people having problems with understanding cash flow, Liz? Do you see that as a dilemma for people?
Yeah, I think it absolutely is. Like, it's just something that to some people, it's sort of like they just sort of don't understand it. Um, so, and like Ty's making a comment here, she's also saying she agrees with me. Target and Walmart have to make those decisions all day long. That's why there's a clearance section, and she's absolutely right. At some point, Target and Walmart, there's certain months of the year, and I know Ty can agree with me here, where Walmart and Target clear their stuff out up to 70% off. Sometimes Walmart's even like 90% off. It's ridiculous. And the reason they do that is to make room for the new stuff, which is going to sell at a lot more. I mean, there's a reason that the stuff is on clearance, and it's the fact that it did not sell. So they sort of understand the formula where they have to. There's some dogs, and those dogs are always going to lose money. That happens every year. But at the same time, by putting the money, getting the money back from the dogs, they put it into the big winners. And those big winners, like stuff like last year, like I know Ty can probably agree with me here, Frozen. I mean, I made a killing on Frozen all year long. And it's just you sort of have to know what's hot and what's not, and it's a matter of experience in some cases.
Ty, I was able to unmute you. We just had some background noise from you before, but it sounds like you have something important to weigh in here. I know that Liz may have said it, but I've unmuted you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I totally agree with Liz, and it definitely also depends on the experience that you have with certain products. Like for example, Frozen. I know a lot of people were hit when Amazon stopped letting a lot of people sell Frozen items, and you had to like apply to sell Frozen or whatever. I never sold Frozen, so I never got hit with that, but I saw a lot of that in a lot of groups or whatever. So you have to be prepared for that also. And then, like, because I come from a retail arbitrage background or whatever, there's been plenty of times where, I've hit the clearance aisle and yeah, it's at 90% off or whatever, but it's 90% off all across the United States. So everybody that's doing retail arbitrage is also getting the 90%. Everything gets in to the warehouse all at the same time, and then it's like a race to the bottom. And that can happen sometimes with private label also, with picking the products or whatever. Everybody's picking the same silicone mats or whatever, and then it becomes a race to the bottom because the market gets flooded with silicone mats.
Yeah, yeah, a race to the bottom. And what for people who don't know, retail arbitrage is where you're going to stores, buying items at clearance prices, and then trying to resell them at a higher price online. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And Ty, when you say a race to the bottom, what you mean is like it's a pretty horrifying thing. Like you're sitting there, and as time ticks, your money is the value of your stock is diminishing.
Yeah, because say you paid, I don't know, $5 for a product, and when you got it, it was selling for 25, and then now it's selling for 9.99. You're not going to even cover your Amazon fees with that.
Right.
So at some point, you're at a negative, and it just does become a decision. Okay, so do I wait 6 months till everybody sells out of their inventory, and then I can start to sell it for $25 again, or do I get rid of it right now for $9.99, get whatever cash I can get out of it, and move on to the next product? So yeah, that cash flow is a real it can be a very, very big issue.
Yeah, and just so you know, guys, this is one of the reasons why, and we'll have Jack on in a little while. He just sent me a text message. This is one of the brilliance of the ways that Jack is operating his business, because he's operating in a lot of cases with other people's money. And in doing that, he himself isn't constrained by his own cash flow. He's constrained by the cash flow of his various partners, but he has so many partners that it allows him to make different decisions. And so one of the things we talk about in the blueprint is partnering with product. You can use your cotton grammar SEO skills. This is something that I was really putting on display when I was in China, was I was leveraging the fact that I'm an SEO expert. When I was talking to, this is something that Ty and Liz can testify to, that product owners do take a heightened interest in people that have SEO skills on Google and on Amazon, and they might cut you better deals, or they might partner with you. And so that's something that you can do to kind of a little bit get around the cash flow issue. But let's look at cash flow. So Liz, let's take your first two products. Let's say that how much did your first product take to stock?
I think it was actually under 1,000. It wasn't even that much.
Okay, so let's just say 1,000 for the sake of argument, and then you turned it over the course of 6 months for how much? Like how much?
Let me see. I bought it. It was a $5, and my sales price was $19.99.
Okay, and then after Amazon fees and so forth, you're making about $5.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm really bad at math, so I'll put it in the FBA calculator and then give it to you
Sure.
here in a minute. Because, like I said, that's my worst subject. We'll say Amazon fees were. We'll just do the three times one rule. So we'll just say it was like $5 cost, about 7 profit. I'd say 7 or 8 profit. Yeah.
Okay, great. So if it was $7 profit, it was a $5 cost. Let's say you ordered 1,000 of them. 1,000 divided by 5, I believe it's gonna be 200, but I'll just verify that really quickly. Yep, it's 200. So that got, let's say $1,000 would have fetched you 200 items, and it took you 6 months. You did sell through them, and you made a profit of $1,400 then. $7 times 200 is $1,400. So now you have $2,400, but it's 6 months later.
Right. And the good thing, the good thing about at that time, like there wasn't giveaways really weren't like that big a deal. So I think I gave away, like I did friends and family giveaway, which is like 20, maybe 20 units I had to give away.
Right.
So there wasn't even that many that were given away, right?
Okay, so let's even, just for a moment, even though that would kind of skew things, let's just forget about the giveaways altogether. So you wound up with, in 6 months, you made $2,400, which you could then reinvest or use to pay the rent or whatever. Which again may not sound that bad. I'm going to change the color of that. Now let's talk about some of your most recent products. Let's say $1,000 invested in a brand new product. Can you think of one that's a little bit more recent?
Yeah. So the recent one that I started like in February, the end of February. If I think I bought. Let me do the math on my calculator. It was more like $3,500 one, but we'll just say it was like it was actually 3,500 the
Yeah,
first order.
I'm just going to make it apples to apples. So let's just
Okay.
think of 1,000 out of that. So
Okay.
what
So
was
the
the
cost was 7.
$7 cost?
Profit was 23.58, and it took me a month to sell through that.
Okay, guys. So now let's look at this. We get a sell through at 1 month. Okay. Now, $7 divided by for the 1,000 that she invested. Okay, so 1,000 divided by 7 is going to give her 142 units. Now, she had to do some giveaways to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, on that one I only had to give away 50.
Okay, so to give away 50 out of the 142, that's a pretty significant amount. So we will factor that in. That leaves you with 92 units that you profited on. 92 times 23 is $2,000 profit. So first of all, you're already ahead profit wise on that first. Uh, so 2,300 profit, and so now 1 month later, Liz, you've got $3,300. Does that math look approximately correct?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask if the math looks right. That's why I have spreadsheets. But one thing that I wanted to point out, I'm pretty sure you are right though, is on the first one, after I actually like got everything together, it was only selling at 1 per day, whereas the second one, in the second instance, at that point it was already at 10 units a day.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to see something real big about momentum here. Now, obviously, you didn't have to wait 6 months for this 2,400 to come in, but I'm speaking a little bit in simplistic terms here. Now, let's watch what happens. Okay, so let's break this out over 6 months if things were relatively linear. What does month 2 look like, Liz? Let me just move this out of the picture for a second. So that was month 1. So month 2, you do some sort of a reorder, right? Hopefully
Right.
it all goes well. And so let's say you order $3,300 worth of new inventory. I'm being a little bit simplistic here for this demonstration, but I believe that this is going to help people understand more about the way you need to be thinking about products. So let's say you then took that $3,300 and put it into inventory. Again, it's a $7 cost, and it's still $23.58 profit per unit. And now, are the sales? Are you able to ramp it up, or is it still kind of running steady at that? Like, is the sale volume about the same in this case?
It's the same. The only thing I did differently is gave away another, in that case, 50 more.
Mm-hmm.
So I did another giveaway, and now the sales volume is like 10 units per day. So I've already had to do 2 reorders on that.
Okay, so and this might be going kind of slow. Sorry, this might be a little bit difficult for people to follow, but that's okay. This is such an important concept. I think that's really going to help people. And again, this will be recorded so we can go back through it. Now, what was the sales volume for the first month? Was it about 10 per day the first month?
On the first month, I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was as much as the second month because the first month started off slow because that was like I just gave it away and then I was selling a couple every day would like increase. So something like it was increasing like every other day by a unit or two, but it didn't hit the 10 units until the second giveaway.
Okay, so maybe it was like more like 3 per day or 4 per day on average for the first month.
Yeah, let me just see the math here. So it's 142 units. So if we just
And that's like 90 units. Oh yeah, it was obviously three per day because it was 90.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like between 1 and 4. So yes, somewhere around 3. Yeah.
Okay, so three per day. Now you're selling, and the reason why you're selling faster, the second month is you're already kind of hitting the ground running. You already have your reviews in. You're able to do a second giveaway. You give away 50 more units, and we talk about how to do giveaways at another time. We've covered that pretty extensively over the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to reinforce it. But anyways, so at that point, we have $3,300 in inventory. We're being a little bit simplistic here. 3,300 divided by $7. Now you have 471 units. 471 units, and you give away 50 to kind of seed things and to get more sales velocity and more reviews. That leaves you with 421 units to sell. And did you sell through that like in this scenario, which is based on reality? It's based on a product that you just started up in February. That 421 units that did sell through the second month, or did it take you 2 months to sell through that?
No, it sold because since you're breaking it down simplistically, like I sold more than 1,000 in the first month,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second month I sold another 1,000.
Okay, so did you sell the same amount the second month or more the second?
No, I went over the second month because I did a reorder.
Okay, great. So I believe that the second month you sold about 3 times as many. Is that correct?
So it was actually the first order was 1,000, the second order was 1,000, and then the third order I think was 2,500. So yeah, and I actually ran out of stock.
Okay.
So between then, which was the end of February, like maybe the third week in February to now, I've gone through the 3 order, and I'm on my 4th order now. So yeah, it was just about 3 times as much as the first month.
In the second month was about 3 times as much as the first month?
Yeah, in the first month I ran out. I was out for a little while.
Okay, great. So 420 then. So you sold through the 420 in the second month times $23 profit is $96.83. So we're on month 2, and it second month. It's still a $7 cost, and what we're looking at is a 420 units sold times $23. Again, simplistically, that's $96.83 profit. So
Right.
$96.83 profit, and of course we get our $3,300 back. The seed cost. So $96.83 plus $3,300, and now you're up to $12,983. So $12,983. Okay. And again, guys, I know that this may be a little bit difficult to follow, but Well, let me put it this way. Again, I'll use this phrase again. Again, you'll hear me say this ad nauseum. This is, more difficult than watching TV and drinking beer. But again, that's not very profitable. This is as hard as it is to follow. But once you follow it, then you too can have a six-figure per month Amazon business. It's basically like this is having this in place is a fundamental, it's a foundational understanding in order to have a six-figure per month in sales Amazon business. So I really want you to be able to have this down. And this is going to help you for product for ordering product. So again, if we do like 1,000 the first month, the second month 3,300, the third month, let's say you just dump it all back into inventory. Once again, this is simplistic. And so now we've got $12,000 in inventory. And how were you able to do like what times the first month sales were you able to do in the third month? Like
I'm in the third month right now.
Oh, you are in the third month right now.
I just started the third month, yeah.
So what's sales volume looking like right now?
It's looking actually really good. Let me take a look here. I haven't actually really, since I just got back. Let's see. So I think I should hit around just overall sales and just that product alone, 30,000, around 30,000 just for that product.
30,000.
That's sales. Yeah, that's sales.
And what were your sales for the first month?
The first month, let me pull those back up. The first month, overall sales were, and again, this includes something like, give me just a minute. You might want to talk about something else while I pull it up, Mike. I'm having to pull up the right account.
All right, no problem. Let me just. All right, so let's get a hashtag cash flow. I know I'm kind of drilling down. You might want to say like some people might be like, man, get to the part where I make money. But really, if you don't understand cash flow, it's just basically not going to work. So let's do hashtag cash flow. I really want to know that people are just getting the concept of cash flow. I've got 4 hashtag cash flows. That's not very many. We've got one from Ty. You get hashtag cash flow from everybody. I mean, this is a really big deal. Oh, Jack Carvel's on. Let's make Jack. Make sure Jack is. Oh, I sent Jack an organizer link, but I don't think he got it. So let's get Jack in. I think he's on. Jack freaking Carvel. Jack.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Man, it's so exciting to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
Hey, man. Right now, what we're talking about, and I know you kind of joined us a little bit late, and this one of the great things about this topic is it'll help people understand, the genius of your idea of taking the blinders off and realizing that you can, for example, partner with product. We're talking about cash flow right now and the importance of cash flow. Liz is helping us break down the difference between the first product she created, which was at a let me move this out of the way. Her first product was, let's say she spent $1,000 on it. I just to make things a little bit apples to apples, I pretended like it was $1,000 outlaid the first month. It took her 6 months to sell through. It was at a $7 profit, so she made $2,400 profit in 6 months, which she could then reinvest from there. And her second product, obviously, much higher profit margins, much faster turnaround. Can you take a different angle on things? I'm going to ask you, to kind of dig into your shuck some pearls of wisdom from the oysters of your mind. You have a lot of experience when it comes to watching cash flow issues when it comes to Amazon businesses, both yours and your partners, and really being able to turn things over faster really is a huge advantage. Why is that?
Well, it's really a risk management side of things. Like you're looking at, the realistic side of things of when you're actually going to be in profit, being realistic. Like once you start taking search volumes and everything, you're doing your market research and you know how much a product costs and how much you're going to sell it for and what your profit margins will be. Kind of being able to predict what you can give away, like whenever you're doing your promotions, and not put yourself in a bind to where, one, you can't reorder either at least at the same level as you did before, because in a lot of cases when you're dealing with suppliers, they're going to want you to reorder more than you did the last time in some cases, or at least what you ordered the last time. So depending on the relationship you have with your supplier, being able to dip down and get less than you did the last time at the same price is going to start messing with your bottom line, obviously. And trying to grow from where you start, like having an understanding of where you're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the line. You're not going to be able to predict it accurately in the beginning, but you'll be able to predict it more accurately once you start getting the experience in a specific niche. Like I'm sure Liz has it down in the beauty niche, like as far as like her experience within that niche, she knows kind of just by looking at a product, oh, I'll need to give this much away, I'll need to get that much away. And when she starts talking to suppliers and looking for different products, she's going to have a really good picture of what her risk is and when she'll actually be in profit and when she needs to ramp things up and how fast she needs to ramp things up. So it's really important when I go start talking to somebody from a client standpoint, if I know numbers or if I can accurately predict certain things and say, or at least give a ballpark saying this is what you're going to need to invest, this is where you're going to be in a couple of months, at least that's the prediction. We could be a lot further along than that. It might be a little slower than that, but understanding where they need to be at or where you need to be at from a cash flow standpoint is extremely important from a risk management standpoint.
Well, and also, especially with clients, you're managing their expectations. So if your predictions are wildly off, that can really undermine the relationship.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why you need to be conservative. Like what I'm looking at right now is really conservative.
Yeah. Now,
like the numbers on the page right here, that's relatively conservative in my opinion. And I think what I'm looking at right now is not a prediction. That's actually what happened, right?
Yeah, this is what happened for Liz on a recent product. Yeah, so we're trying to as much as possible compare apples to apples. One of the things I'll want to do when we're done wrapping this up, Jack, is talk about how you grew things in such a meteoric fashion. And I think that'll give people, again, right now we're at the high level as we're looking at product getting, but I think that these illustrations are going to really help people zoom in and understand what's going on. And remember, Liz has 40 products out there, so this is happening again and again. All right, Liz, do you have some more clarity for us?
Yeah. Well, first of all, what I want to tell everybody is that, like, if they're confused about this, like, they don't have to worry about that because I'm confused about it as well. Because, like I told you, I'm not that good at math. I really am not. In terms of why I was like such a big high-level winner at poker is because, first of all, I surrounded myself with smart people, sort of similar like to OMG, and secondly, there's obviously spreadsheets and things like that, but I'm all about like the psychology of things. But what threw me off on this is the fact that this, like the $1,000, my order wasn't 1,000, but we kind of were just comparing it and making it simple for people. My order was actually like I told you initially was like 3,500. So on the first month, the total actual units that I sold were 256. Because what I had to do is go into the Amazon reports and like pull to see how many I sold. So the second month it was almost double, which was at 415 units, and this month it's on pace to be like 655 to 700.
Okay, so
about the 30,000 sales.
Yeah, we'll adjust the numbers to suit that, and I know how to do it. So the first month, this proportion should have been correct. The second month, you sold twice as much. So
yeah, twice as much.
So selling twice as much, basically, she wouldn't have sold through the entire amount the second month, so it wouldn't be quite to this proportion. it would be still quite a bit. It'd be about 6,600 in profit, because it's just selling twice as much. And so again, this wouldn't follow exactly, but it would be around $10,000. Well, again, not exactly that, because she'd still have some inventory left over. So basically, it would have taken her about 6 weeks to sell through the second burst right here. And so let's just do it that way. We'll just say that month one, and then we're going to make this second month and 1/2. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that the other reason why they're off is because I did do the giveaways, so those kind of weren't like accounted in there.
Right. It wasn't. It was, well, I accounted for it a little bit, but anyways, weirdly enough, I'm following this pretty well. So at 2.5 months in, it would have been 9,600 and in profit, and again, at that point, you have $12,000 on your original $1,000, and then now at this point, let's say if sales are twice. Oh no, now they're much faster. So the first month, how many units did you sell?
The first month, 256.
So you're 3 times the speed now in month 3.
Yeah, because I'm at 6. I should be at 655 to 7.
Right. So right around 3 times. So now watch what happens, folks. Through the magic of math. So for the next phase here, we're selling 3 times as fast as the first month. We've still got a $7 cost. We've still got a $23.58 profit, and we're going to sell through everything. All right. So watch what happens here. 12,983. And again, folks need to you folks need to understand this is a growth-based business, but that also requires investment. Wow, is that correct? No, not at all. 12
It should be around 28,000. Yeah.
Yeah, divided by 7. So we got 1,854 units that we can buy with that now. How big was your giveaway this time? Just 50 more, or did you give away a lot more? 100, 200?
No, originally I actually, because we were doing 1,000, I divided what I actually gave away. So the very last giveaway was 158 units. So I ramped up the giveaways.
Okay, so let's just make it 50.
Okay.
Which won't be exact. All right, so we have 1,800 units times 23. Now you can get to a profit of 41,000 for the third cycle. The third cycle isn't quite a month, but let me show that. $41,000, and that's going to take. Let's see, we were able to sell. The first 1,000 was 200. So this cycle is going to be. So it's 200 sales right here for the first month. So 200 sales. So now we're doing 600 sales. That's going to be, it's going to take us 3 months to sell through this inventory at this pace. So that would take us through, and again, I'm just looking at this inventory cycle. That would take us through 6 weeks plus 90 days, probably. So that would take us through almost perfectly. That would take us to 5.5 months in, and we'd be at 41,000 profit, and we'd have our inventory back again. So we'd be at we'd be sitting on $53,000 approximately, actually $54,000 about. Okay, so here's what's fascinating. This actually worked out very well. I didn't particularly want it to or not want it to, but it just did. So what we're trying to do is a little bit of an apples to apples comparison here. So what we wound up with here, yeah, I'm a little bit having trouble manipulating my screen here. I may have lost my previous graphic, unfortunately. Let's see if I can, just a bonking for my computer, not very helpful. All right, so in the previous thing, she basically had $2,300 in profit in 6 months. Using her new method, this product in about 6 months would fetch around $41,000 in profit. And then the point is, Liz, at that point, you can deploy that $41,000. Oh, it's actually much more than $41,000. Actually, no, it's $53,000 in profit. That's exactly the number it is, because our initial seed money was $1,000. Now, at the end of 6 months, we're sitting on $50,000. So, Liz, you can now deploy that $50,000 to go out there and get you more products. Is that correct?
Right, and that's what I'm good at, is finding products. I'm not good at like the numbers. That's why I use a spreadsheet. So yeah, it's absolutely right. I'm good at finding products, and that's pretty much what I do. Is I take that money and then keep just putting product after product.
Jack?
It's sort of like not really setting my expectations to. This particular product kind of like was a hidden gem. It was something that doesn't fit a lot of people's actual like numbers. You know, that like, we're all often like given guidelines for merchant orders and things like that. It doesn't. It's like way under the radar. It does not hit anybody's numbers in terms of what you should go for. And it was a total home run. And the competition was ridiculously soft. Because I am on page 1 for it, and I'm not even really at the top of page 1 yet.
All right, so let me get a hashtag. If you understood what I just went through, give me a hashtag FTW, which is for the win, okay? In the Facebook group, give me a hashtag for the win if you follow that math. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, give me a bunch of question marks, or maybe find a question mark sticker. Do they have question mark stickers?
I don't think they do. Maybe they have a
Here
puzzled.
Yeah, you can give me a puzzled look. So give me a puzzled look. If you didn't get it, if you got it, give me a hashtag FTW, which means for the win. So that's something that me and Liz say to each other all the time, is hashtag for the win. So let me get a gauge of things, and it's perfectly great. Whatever your answer is perfectly great. A lot of for the wins here. Really.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be embarrassed if there's a question mark, because I was kind of like, the whole dividing my actual order by a third was like, it threw me the heck off too.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, so we got one person, Tio. It was a little bit confused. Goal. It's great. She said, goal. The World Cup's going to be in Moscow, by the way, in 2018.
And I think Susan's one person that can attest to like just how bad I am with numbers, because I usually have to ask her questions about that.
All right, let me see where we're at with things. I want to just kind of follow along and see how folks are going. We've mostly got, so Tio wasn't quite sure. Most other people have it. Okay, Anders is a little confused. Okay, Anders. So let me try to represent this in a wholly different way. Let's just start with a brand new sheet here. So let's say you have two people starting at the same time. So let's say we've got Joe starts with $1,000, and Joe's $1,000 he invests in a product, and it takes Joe 6 months to sell through that product, and when he's done, Joe has $3,500 left over. Okay, then Joe can then reinvest that $3,500, and then presumably, if it takes him another 6 months to sell through that, then Joe at the end of the year will have around $10,000. Okay, so in a year, Joe will get to around $10,000, and that's where Joe's business will be for the year. Now, if we take let's say Lisa, and Lisa followed along with Liz's math, then at the 6 month mark, Lisa would be at $50,000. Okay, and basically I showed you in that math, like what happened was Lisa turned over that first $1,000 much faster. Okay, and she did it at a much higher profit margin. So first of all, she did it more quickly. That's number one. And number two, she did it at a much higher profit margin than Joe did. And that allowed Lisa, because it was turning over quickly and because she was making more money, she was able to reinvest more and more quickly. So she got up to $50,000 profit, like altogether, by the end of just 6 months. And if she were able to follow the same rate, and Liz, how long ago did you start in Amazon?
I want to say it was July of 2013. 2013 sounds about right.
2013, so about a year and a half.
No, 2012.
2012, so about 2.5 years.
Yeah,
So
2.5 years.
So if somebody's wondering how you ramped up so quickly, it's that ultimately you started doing this more geographic growth.
Right. Ultimately, like I first started, I sourced something like, well, I did what Ty did. I was in retail ARB. But then once I made some money on that, I sourced something locally and then started with that product. And then what I did is once I had like the formula down and I kind of was starting to like get these, like kind of create my whole system and process for launching, because that's what I'm kind of good at, is getting something on page one really quickly. Once I did that, I partnered with money.
Great.
So that's kind of how it was like that. I was able to ramp it up that fast. So I partnered with somebody that had deep pockets and pretty much was able to just like unleash like as many products as I wanted to. In fact, to this day, I can continue to do that. Sometimes I just don't have the time to get that all done. That's why I'm starting to partner a lot with people.
Great, which again is something that Jack's doing, and we'll get to talk about this. So the basic idea of a geometric growth versus more of a linear growth. This is a linear growth expectation, which actually that first model we showed you is very linear. Okay, it's going to go along just fine. Now, a geometric growth, it may start slower, it may not, it may actually start faster. That's not what matters. What's important is you start hitting a real breakthrough. Okay, you start hitting a real breakthrough where your numbers are staggeringly more. Where you have a real staggering growth. So in this case, Lisa's 50,000 matches up with this 3,500, and then very possibly Lisa could even have. In this case, it really wouldn't be out of the question for Lisa to have like a $500,000 Christmas or something like that. I mean, if Lisa was able, Liz, to take her first $1,000 and make it into $50,000 in 6 months, would you be that surprised if she fit $500,000 for Christmas?
For her second Christmas, is that what it is?
For her first.
Oh no, that's for Christmas. If she had the experience, yes, but I think that first Christmas is kind of like maybe not in the first Christmas, because the first Christmas is kind of like an experience. You kind of don't understand. Yeah, I would think 250 would be more likely, because it takes, and you can ask Ty this, but that first Christmas is just like, you can never be prepared enough for the first Christmas. It usually takes you a couple to actually get ready to kind of have like a really big one. And again, it's another confidence thing. You sort of like under order, I think, for that first Christmas, because you're not really, it's just, all I can say about Christmas is it's absolutely amazing. It's difficult to sort of explain without you having like gone through it.
Great. Okay, great. So let me. Hong Kong Larry's on. That's exciting. For those of you who were a little confused, if you're still confused, and there were a few, Neural wasn't sure. We as I'm looking through this, I know we had like 2 or 3 people that were a little confused. I was confused. Wanda was confused. So now the people who weren't sure, if you weren't sure before of what I meant, tell me if it makes sense now. Give me a hashtag printing money if you get it. I like that. Ty said printing money. So give me a hashtag printing money. Again, what I want to do when we're looking at products is that I really want to think about things in terms of, and I don't want you to feel pressure to get this, okay? But at the same time, if you do get it, give me a hashtag printing money if it totally makes sense, because otherwise, it's a vital resource. Our cash flow is a hard creates a hard limit to our growth, Liz. Is that ultimately correct?
Absolutely right. And like Ty's pointing out here, Christmas, that's what it's all really about. If you think about what all the retailers do, they break even all year round just to, or they lose money even. And come Black Friday, that's when the money starts to print. And from the Black Friday to the end of the year, and even like the first few weeks in January, I find are ridiculous as well. It's all about printing money. That's when they make all their money back and some.
All right, so let's get some Christmas stickers then. Let me
Yeah.
get a flood of Christmas stickers if you guys get this idea. Like what we're doing is more built around strategic positioning. So let's get your Christmas stickers. I got this cute little I don't know, is it a reindeer or a mouse or an aardvark or I don't know what he is. It looks kind of like a fat panda. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Oh man, I said panda and then Pat busted out with a panda.
And you know, Mike, I think the important part here that you're trying to illustrate, Mike, where even like if somebody's like confused, is the fact that by picking products a little bit differently, it kind of almost it sets you up for like faster success. Like we talked about Nicole and the product that she chose, where she was instantly making money. Now she can jump into another product and turn that money even faster. And before you know it, for Christmas, because she now has the confidence in those two products, she can really make like a great deal of money, and it's just going to give her more and more confidence when she picks products and things like that. So I think that's the important part here. So if people are still confused, it's like that's fine because like I'm still confused myself, only because I'm so bad at math. But the point is that each month, just kind of executing like the tactics that I normally do, I was able to double and pretty soon triple what I did originally. So I think that's kind of the important part.
Man, there's some good Christmas stickers here. I think everyone's being like really careful with what stickers they come up with. I like that. Um, all right, Jack, can you give us a perspective? You've had really meteoric growth. Now you started in a cash flow heavy business. You started with SEO client consulting, which is like cash flow through the nose. I mean, you have cash coming out of your ears. Now it may have some other difficulties and some other challenges, but profit and cash flow is not a problem when you're doing SEO client consulting. But what you did was you exploded your business. I mean, literally exploded it like crazy with your growth curve. How did you go from just getting started did you get started in the summer of 2014 or was it the summer
Yeah,
of 2013?
it
2014.
was July of 2014.
So how did you go from there to like exploding so quickly?
Well,
And I mean,
I'm
from like a cash flow standpoint, can you give us kind of like a little bit of a narrative?
yeah, absolutely. Like I went in with a typical like small order, and I just compounded on that small order a few times until I actually went in and made a big order, and there was actually some issues with that large order. So it went initial was like 100 units, and then once that hit, it pretty much sold almost immediately. And then I turned it around and I put in another, I think it was 250 units, and then I had an additional 500 coming in after that. Now, I was doing client consulting at the time, so I did have cash flow coming in from that. So it wasn't
By the way,
I wasn't necessarily worried about that money being tied up.
well,
So
because that was one of the things I really talked about in the breakthrough blueprint is the distinction between an Amazon physical products business and the kind of like a Cotton Grammar style SEO client consulting business. And what you're doing is somewhere in between, and you're benefiting from both. Can you kind of explain that? Because I think that will really help people to understand. Like you're able to like really operate with a great deal of swagger because you know that you're covered by your client consulting business.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so I'm not worried really. You know, if I wind up seeing a dip in sales on Amazon, I don't sit there and like freak out for lack of a better term. You know, like I don't freak out. I sit back and I look at what's really going on. I'm able to analyze it. I'm able to say, okay, well, why did it do this and what did I do differently? What caused it to move down? And I think a lot of times people get emotional with it. You know, they look at certain things and they see a dip one way or the other, they get emotional, and then they start making all these changes that in the end it winds up making it even worse, as opposed to, you know, like tracking that change that they made and saying, okay, well, my sales dipped down because of that. Now I can change it back, revert back to my previous baseline and move forward, because they have that emotional attachment to it based on the fact that they have their money tied up in it. So it's, in my opinion, it's best to start off like with like the lower end on your initial products, unless you have the experience that Liz has, or I'm gaining. I don't necessarily I don't go into products that I don't know for a fact. Like I can go in and rank in Google or go in and rank in Amazon. And if I know it's going to be a struggle, I know that I know what the risk management is on the front end. So I'll look at it and say, okay, well, how much money is it going to take me to get to that point? And I'm okay with taking that risk. And that's one of the things, like someone was talking about lead times and having your money tied up, while you're waiting for product to be made or be shipped or something along those lines. That's one of the advantages that that I have with doing client consulting in addition to this, is that I still have money coming in on the back end, even if I'm waiting on product. I don't like product to go out because that means I'm kind of losing money, or I could be making more money than I'm making. But if I run into those issues, it's not the end of the world.
Heidi just posted something that I think is very interesting. It said Amazon sold 426 items per second in the run-up to Christmas on Cyber Monday 2013. So on Cyber Monday alone, more than 36.8 million items were ordered worldwide on Amazon, up from 26.5 million items. Boy, that's a huge growth on a single day. Like 1 year to the next, an additional 10 million items ordered on Amazon, and it could well be that next year would be even more. Yeah, that is. Tony said hashtag mind blown. Let's give Jack a hashtag freaking out.
Mike, I actually want to make another point here real quick with Amazon. Like once I was ramping up, like I went from, it was July and August, I had product in pretty much the whole time, but then I had to change suppliers because while I liked the quality that I had, the price wasn't where I wanted it to be. And when I switched suppliers, that was like two and a half months that I didn't have any product in Amazon. So I wound up restocking up because I was preparing for Christmas, kind of how Liz was talking about. I was preparing for Christmas, and I wound up making a relatively large order. And it got in the middle of November. And from November to the end of December, it was over $300,000 worth of sales. And that was going from orders from the 100 to 250 to 500, and I think I had another 250 unit order after that. And we swapped suppliers, and because of the initial, like the lead times and the sourcing of materials and things like that, it wound up taking a little bit longer than what we would have wanted to get into Amazon. But it wound up getting into Amazon November 17th, and did over $300,000 worth of sales from November 17th to December 31st.
Yeah, it's a huge, because what we're trying to help people see as we're looking at product, as we're answering because we already know this is a particular week where we've been just getting in, like the last couple of weeks, we've been getting lots and lots and lots of questions about product getting. And so we're trying to answer those questions, in this case, kind of proactively. And Liz, if it's just a total black box for people to see what it looks like. I mean, you and Jack now have both had $1 million month, and there was just understanding that you had to have before that could happen. I mean, is that true? That there was no perfect moves that you could have made the first month that you were on Amazon to do 7 figures in sales. It just wasn't possible given your beginning understanding back in July of 2012.
Right. There was no way that would have ever been possible. I mean, it's sort of just like, it takes, first of all, for people to just learn, kind of like, because I always get the question, obviously the two questions that I get the most are, what kind of product what should my product criteria selection be? And the second thing is, what other form of traffic should I focus on? And what I typically tell people is, we're all like, there's all these like shiny objects in front of us that it's hard to sort of stay focused. But what I typically tell people to concentrate on is concentrate on just learning about the inner workings of Amazon, be it like learning how to split test titles, split test bullets, like really learning how to do it. I know Jack could probably tell you this, but like you can't, like a lot of people, what happens is, let's say their listing's not converting that well. Let's say it's converting about 6 or 7%. So what they decide to do, and this is like probably not something they should do, is they decide to change everything, give everything a total makeover. But what they should be doing is like focusing on first the title and seeing if they can raise that conversion percentage. And then after they have the title down, then going next to like the bullets and seeing if they can get that conversion up, and then focusing on images. Like you can't do everything all at once, because when you do everything all at once, your actual conversion rate, it'll really skew it. You have to sort of see like what happens over the course of, say, like a week after you make a change. So what I like to tell people to do is focus on learning just the inner part of Amazon, be it like keyword selection, the PPC that Jack did some videos on, the split testing of titles, of bullets, of all that stuff, and just getting your copy down. So focus on learning like launch strategies and everything revolving around Amazon. Once you are like comfortable with that and you have an entire launch sequence and you sort of have everything like in a system, then you go ahead and you focus on some form of exterior traffic. Or you can do too, if you really want, like you can start to learn some SEO stuff and start listening to what Greg and Cotton and Mike and everybody has to say, Joe and everyone, and start working on that slowly. But you want to mainly focus on within Amazon, because once you do, you become an expert within Amazon, and then you're kind of like really a lot of Amazon. Really, all you need is Amazon to make good money. Focusing on another form of traffic is great once you sort of get like a chance. But first, like focus on being an expert within Amazon.
Great.
I couldn't agree more with what Liz just said, and I feel like, excellent presentation with that there, Liz. That's the number one problem that I see with people that I talk to, is when they make a change to it, they're like, oh, well, why did it do this? I'm like, well, what did you change? And in a lot of cases, well, I changed the title, and I changed the price, and then I changed the images, and I changed the bullet points. And I'm like, well, I can't really tell you. I can't advise you in that case on what actually made the change, because what you have to do, and this is a question that Cece just put in, is how do you split test on Amazon with one Seller Central account? You're split testing your own listing against itself. You're getting a previous baseline. For instance, if I know what my conversion was last week, and then I make a change, and then I look at the next 7-day period from making that change, then I know I have a general idea of whether or not that one change that I made is going to increase my conversions or decrease my conversions. And there's a lot of things that you can learn about your listing, not only from a conversion standpoint, but what does the market react to? And that gives you a lot more knowledge about your market before you go start trying to promote via YouTube or Google. Like if you're starting to move in a direction with additional advertising, by that time, if you've done what Liz just suggested, which is get good at Amazon, get good at ranking there, understand what it is that your market reacts to, and then you take those same types of keywords that you're ranking for, the ones that convert well within sponsored ads, and you promote those same style keywords in Google. That way you know that your traffic is coming to a listing that is primed up, that it's tuned up, and it's converting at a high percentage. At that point, it's printing money. At that point, it's sending traffic to something that you know is going to convert.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jack. I totally agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more.
All right, that's killer. So let's
and everybody gets emotional with it, like, and they say, oh, my rankings went down or something like that, and they make all these changes, and they can't say what actually did well for the product or what actually brought it down, because they're not tracking these things effectively.
So one of the things I'm going to do to kind of keep us true and keep us heading in the right direction, one of the things I've learned, I actually learned this at OMG Live Nashville, is that sometimes when we answer one person's question, we wind up answering nobody's question, including the person who's asking the question. So it was really excellent and it was actually literally perfect what Liz and Jack just said about dealing with the inner workings of Amazon, like really understanding. And listen, this stuff is in your training right now. If you go into your Amazon area, there's the excellent over-the-shoulder series, and right now you can see Jack going through the actual inner workings of split testing. He's showing you how that works, and it's in progress right now. And what you can do after this event is over is go in and look at that over-the-shoulder series in Elite Serum and see how Jack's doing that, and we're going to do that very, very well. What I want to do is kind of recenter us here. I want to do a #$1,000,000 month again. $1 million month. I've actually done $1 million day before, but I want to focus on $1 million month. I just want to get everybody focused in, and let's do a hashtag $1 million month. I want everyone focused on the idea of a $1 million month. It could be for you next Christmas. It could be 2 Christmases from now. But I really believe that every single person who's live with us right now, every single person can have $1 million month. What I want to do is I want to be specifically focused on that and talk about what things have to happen before that comes to be, because it's going to boil down to that's going to help us see what it is that we need to do now. And look, we're going to cover all this stuff. We really are. Today I want to be particularly product centered. No, it's wonderful, Cece. It was actually literally great that you asked that question. We wound up at a point where we were going to start kind of spiraling off. So that's why I kind of pulled us back in. But I want to we actually have almost 200 people live now. So I'd love to get $200 million months. I actually got $1 million day from Tracy. But hashtag $1 million month. I'd love to get $100 million months. And really, I want you guys just for a second to see, like, what would that look like? I mean, so Liz, what does, just for a second, this is a little bit conceptual, but I want to help people understand this. What does $1 million month look like? Like, so you wake up in the morning, like, first of all, you're doing work, you're doing stuff. Like, just take us through $1 million month. Like, what happens? So you open up, you have several different Seller Central accounts. Just start halfway through the month, and you didn't even necessarily know that you were going to even hit $1 million this last December. But what all happened? What was $1 million month? What did it look like for you?
I think it's. I can't say that I didn't think I was going to hit it, because like I always set really high goals, but at the same time, I don't really set, like, it's kind of, goals and expectations are a little bit different for me, only because I've had so much experience with poker. But sometimes, like, expectations, you set them so great that you set yourself up for failure. So like what I like to do is have like a lot of process oriented goals as opposed to results oriented. So kind of the way the $1 million month is, like, it sort of happens is you don't even actually realize, like, you're so like in like the flow of things that you don't actually even realize, like, it's happening, because it's Christmas, and like Ty said, Christmas is like printing money. So like the real, like, process oriented goals that I set for making that much is like getting so much product in. So definitely during the 3 months leading up to Christmas, and unfortunately, funny thing that happened is I was actually at Jason Fladlian's mastermind for a good part of December, so I wasn't even actually, if I had actually been like helping out and packing up stuff and doing things for Christmas, I think it would have hit a heck of a lot more. But because I was at that mastermind, it kind of threw everything off, because come December, it's like printing money. So literally, like, your goal is to get as much stuff in as possible. So to be quite honest with you, Mike, it's absolutely exhausting. It's about all I could say about it, because the goal is just to get as much stuff in as possible. And literally, like, my brother and I are working like dogs, and it's Christmas, it's cold, but you can guarantee that we're actually like working up a sweat, because we're constantly taping boxes and stuff like that. So I'm still in there like one-man gang style. It's not like I have this crew of like 20 or 30 employees. I do have some. It's quite a bit of them, but me and my brother tend to be like the youngest ones in the crew. So him and I are literally like hustling just nonstop. So it's him, I, and a couple other people that are, pretty young, but we're in there like hustling, and so that's kind of what $1 million month actually looks like, just so everybody knows. I do work my ass off, and that's really all I can say about it. There's nothing much else.
So let's say it's December 15th. You're hot, you wake up in the morning. Usually you and me are huge advocates of 8-hour sleep days. But you might even be cutting it a little bit tight, because it like time is money at that point. Anyways, regardless, you get out of bed, and the first thing that flashes into your consciousness is get product out the door. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's correct. That's the only thing that, in fact, there was product that we weren't able to get out because we were just trying to get so much out. But, I mean, there's really not much time left to think about it. So many different things can happen for Christmas. You really have to prep. It takes a special, you sort of have to prep. You even have to, I'm sure Ty does this as well, you have to we have to have like boxes in stock, like hundreds and hundreds of them. Even this year we had close to 1,000 boxes in stock. Tape, same thing with goes for tape and shipping supplies and everything, because you never know what can happen. I mean, like my favorite poly bag manufacturer, something could actually run out of poly bags right around that time, or suffocation stickers can run out, things like that, because we still do a lot of in-house stuff. We do a lot of our own kitting, so it's just like all about being rushed and getting things in, and it's just like, that's all I can really say about it. It's really exhausting.
Awesome. Jack, what does $1 million month look like from your standpoint? Obviously, with you, it's a lot more partners, a lot less centralized. What does it look like for you when you wake up, day in the life?
Day in the life for me is a lot less strenuous than what Liz just explained. And that's only because I've kind of, I'm probably not making near as much money profit as she is on that, so there is a caveat to it. But for me, it's checking about, at this point, it's 19 different accounts, and the $1 million month actually we're not quite at that this month and the month prior, because we did get a little bit of a dip because of lack of inventory. But it's really going in and testing accounts, looking at things that have been changed. For me, it's obviously looking at the numbers and seeing what increased, what decreased, what were our clicks from sponsored ads. Did we get any additional like runs from sponsored ads? Or are we looking at an increase from our last change or a decrease from our last change? So it's all really numbers for me. Like I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at what we're testing for that week time frame across all those accounts, and it'll really kind of sneak up on you once you look at it. As far as when you're looking at the numbers, like the previous month to like this month, from all the changes that were made and moving in the right direction. And it was all based off the experience of the first account, going in and making those changes and testing them out and making sure that it was a process that I was using. But day in the life for me is really just looking at the numbers, looking at the changes that were made and making sure that they increased sales, and if they didn't, reverting to the previous baseline.
Right, great, got it. So the thing is, what you're looking at, Jack, is very much from a process standpoint. Look, you're operating where your partners are doing a huge amount of the product fulfillment. So the stuff that Liz is talking about, where she's a bit of a one-man gang from a standpoint of doing the taking care of the product. A lot of what you're relying on your partners for is that they would come through and do a great job with getting that product supplied and out, and you might help them if they get stuck. But is that kind of what's going on? That's why you're not as product centric.
Right, absolutely. Like yesterday, we sent out, I think it was close to 5,000 units that I didn't touch anything.
Right.
I sent labels. That's what I did. I really didn't do anything. I'm trying to leverage my time as much as possible from a standpoint of a higher level process, and that is a process that's extremely important, and making sure that it's done right. So I wouldn't say that like I'm going to go out and partner with anybody who wouldn't be able to get the details right. And that's one thing that I was kind of wary about from the get-go. And in some cases, like these products, like they're really expensive in some cases. Like we're talking, anywhere from the ones that are moving quite a lot of volume right now are around the $90 price range. But the fun part about that is we can push it up to the $150 to $160 price range and still be very competitive with the big name brands. So, and that's a process that's actually fulfilled here in the Houston area. And I had to train them in order to do it correctly, and there was a little bit of a learning curve for them in order to get it done right. But once it was in place, it's very similar to all the other accounts that I'm managing. Yes, I only take a percentage of that. I only take a percentage of the profit, but it's something that I don't really have to do a whole lot with, like as far as the physical labor side of things. Like they already have their warehouses, they already have a fulfillment channel for orders that they have coming in from other sales channels. So it's not something that, I just have to tweak it a little bit specifically for Amazon, send it into Amazon FBA, and then I start working the numbers. And I start, doing the high level, like promotional giveaways, or listing optimization, split testing certain things, running their sponsored ads, so on and so forth. And it's very involved, especially initially. Like once, I mean, I'm sure from what we're doing with Elite Serum, it's not an overnight process. It's not something that happens right away, but you will start making sales if like you do the listing optimization in the manner in which Liz is explaining it, or the manner in which I explain it. And as long as you just continue to grow from there and continue to test, then the business will keep growing.
Great. All right. So let me again look to recenter things. So first of all, what I'm hearing from Liz is hashtag product. Okay. So let's give a hashtag product for Liz, because that's where her focus is, on getting the products in and moving them out. It's not that she's not focused at all on traffic, but just for a second, like what we found out from Liz when we looked through her eyes is that when she wakes up in the morning, her eyes blink wide open, and she's thinking product is like in that month. That's what you're thinking. Is that correct, Liz?
Yeah, and that's usually only in Q4. Like we do just as much like of hands-off stuff as Jack does. Like right now, my focus is getting even more hands-off. I'm sending a lot of stuff to Kevin and Jin, where they provide that service. So I'm also like outsourcing that. But when you're like when you grew as quickly as I did, sometimes you've got no choice and you have to get your hands dirty. So that's kind of why me and my brother were forced to do all the work, because if we weren't going to do the work, nobody else is going to do the work. But it's sort of like being a part of like the OMG community has opened up like a lot of opportunities for me in terms of like meeting people that I can trust, like Kevin and Jin, to be able to send them stuff and know that they're going to take care of it and treat it like as it was their own Amazon product. So the longer that we're in this business, we realize that there's got to be more outsourcing, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to scale. There's no way we're going to hit a goal of like say 10 million a month by December by packing everything ourselves. So now we've got not only Kevin and Jen, but we're adding some more people to be able to help us do that. But yeah, that's why my number one focus at the time was, and that was because of the rate that I was growing at, and also capitalizing on the trends, which I talked about in another webinar. We were capitalizing on the fact that Frozen was so hot, so we were sending in as much Frozen stuff as we could. So our whole purpose, especially November, December, October was a little less slow, but it was to actually send as much crap as we possibly could. And so that's kind of why we kind of like decided, hey, look, we're really young still. Let's commit like a couple Christmases to just working our butts off and see where it gets us. So that's kind of why we sort of focused on that, on product.
Okay, so what I'd like, we have almost 200 people on now. I'd really like at least 100 hashtag product. Really just see it from her standpoint. There's, that's what she's thinking is, and yep, we will get Kevin Jin's, that's something that's in the works. I know a lot of people have been asking about that, and I already have filming recorded, and we're bringing things along in their due pace. So I want people to see it from a standpoint just of how, again, we start with $1 million month. So what does that look like? What that looked like from the reality. Again, OMG is reality based. It's one of the things. It's an ongoing science, and it's reality based. So I want everyone to get product and just hammer product, hashtag product into the message box. If you're watching this on a replay right now, write down product, product, product. Just be thinking about that. Put yourself, imagine that you're Liz. You're waking up in the morning, you got her big eyes. She wakes up, she's like, bam, they open up, big grin on her face, and she leaps out of bed, and she runs in, and she just starts packing up product, shipping it out. That's what she's thinking, okay? So I'd like to get 100 hashtag products. I want everyone at home really visualizing that you're like Liz, that you're there with her brother, you're packing stuff up, shipping it out. It can't happen fast enough. You're saying, well, do we have enough packing tape? Do we have enough mailers going out? When is that shipment coming in? Probably going over and checking, tracking numbers all the time. Did this come? Did this get in? What's going on? Is this a holdup? Is there something I can get it loose? Product, product, product. I want everyone typing in hashtag product. Okay.
One of the interesting things, Mike, that I just wanted to tell everybody is a funny story that actually the UPS drivers used to like really, they would have to bring about 3 trucks at once. And there was this new guy one time, and he came on, and he couldn't believe it when he got here to my house, and he was like, I thought they were messing with me, but they told me that your house sends out more stuff than the entire east side of the city. Like meaning like that anybody else that's on the east side, including all the businesses. So it was kind of like a funny thing when they had to come and bring multiple trucks to load up all the stuff. It was kind of I couldn't forget like the look on his face where he was like kind of shocked.
Awesome. Awesome. I think that's a great mental image, right? Three UPS trucks. I wonder if they got any truck stickers. Here we go. Look at this guy. See if you can find a car or a truck sticker for Liz, because there she is. They're bringing 3 UPS trucks at a time. They're bringing out forklifts to get this stuff going. Product. I want everyone to see that, where her living room's getting taken over, her garage. The dog house. The poor Chompers is out of his dog house. He's sitting around. He's got packing tape and he's packing things up. Let's get as many trucks. Yeah, let's get a bunch of these cute little cars, trucks, or whatever. I guess can do cars. You may have to use a car. Cars may even have to come into play. Let's see what cars they have here. You think there'd be more trucks? This cat. All right. I don't know how Chompers would feel about that, but anyways, all right. So the point is that we have a lot of focus in. There we go. That's perfect, Robin. On trucks, like we have all these trucks coming in, packing supplies, getting it in, getting it out. I want you to really see that, because that ultimately boiled down to, if we reverse that back to, that was like your first product that moves so slowly, Liz, but then you learned, and now you've got these more fast-paced products. That's how you ramped up to $1 million a month, was understanding that, getting these products that are going to conform to your specifications. And obviously you're rolling that out anytime now. It's something that you're working on, is explaining your product getting formula. But it's nailing these products, and of course understanding the inner workings of it. We're going to talk about that in just a second in terms of how to deal with traffic and so on. But that's what led to, if we jump back into Snagit, the difference between this slow moving product and this fast moving product, that was the difference for you.
Yeah, that was complete difference. Just like anything else, it was experience and sort of, like I said, becoming a master at the inside of Amazon. And that's something that never, like, you never become like the ultimate, like, you're never going to be the Yoda of the inside of Amazon. Like, you can always get better. There's always going to be new tricks, new ways of doing things, and it's constantly evolving. So you sort of have to stay on top of that game. But once you get to a certain level of experience with it, you can move on to the next step, which is like an external form of traffic. But just like Jack and I both talked about, you want to become a master at just being a master within Amazon.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so now to zoom in. We zoomed in for a second on Liz's perspective. When I asked Jack about these high sales volume months, what he's thinking when he wakes up in the morning, his eyes blink open. He's excited. He is thinking hashtag traffic. That's really what Jack means, in my opinion. He's thinking about these different metrics that are going to lead to an eruption of traffic. What headlines are bringing him more traffic? What keywords are converting better in pay-per-clicks that he can then ratchet it up on getting Wirecast videos up and out, getting Google rankings going, and this traffic is what he's trading on. When he's able to go to somebody who already has an existing product and partner with them, what he's able to do is come out and say, hey, I got traffic. I got traffic. I'm going to be able to bring you traffic. Now, Patrick, there's a whole unit, and one of the things I can see is that some people are here and haven't gone through our training material. So I'm really glad. This is great news for you, Patrick, because Mike Bebbington and Liz Herrera put together a whole module on dealing with hijackers proactively with frustration-free packaging, and that's in your Amazon over-the-shoulder series on Hydro Feet for Kids. on doing frustration-free packaging. So that Patrick, that's going to be critical there for you to go through that module on frustration-free packaging. But for right now, let's stay a little bit focused here. I want hashtag traffic. Again, we have almost 200 people on right now. I'd like to get 100 hashtag traffic. So I want you to see Jack waking up in the morning, his eyes blink wide open, he fires up his computer, and he's looking at all these kinds of, what are my Google rankings? How are my videos doing? What are my rankings like in Amazon? What product giveaways do I have to do to fire up traffic? What different tests am I running? Traffic. Now, again, it's not that Liz doesn't do traffic. I'm just using this to kind of illustrate the two big pillars of success when it comes to Amazon. With these OMG methods, we got to nail the product like we did with Liz, like we talked about with Liz, and we got to nail that traffic like Jack's talking about. And of course, both of them do product and both of them do traffic, because you can't have success without both. But I'm just using that to kind of illustrate. I want people to really see that what ultimately has to happen for us to have success is we've got to be able to get traffic in, we've got to be able to get products in, get them successfully listed, and then we've got to get traffic to them. We've got to get them listed on Amazon. We've got to get Google SEO to them and so forth. It could be Amazon SEO, it can be Amazon pay-per-click traffic, and that's going to be the foundation of things for us to be able to have success. Now, Liz, you're fresh coming out of this trip to China, and you walked the Canton Fair. You walked all three phases of it. You also went to other areas in China. Went to Hong Kong to another trade show. You went to factories. You were all over the place. When you're walking the floor at the Canton Fair and you walk up to a booth, can you walk us through an experience either this time or even maybe even better, rewind back to when you went in October of 2014, when you identified a product, realized I want this product, and got it into Amazon and it started selling for you. What was the process that you went through? And obviously, we're not going to go through your entire Amazon product getting process right now, but give us an idea what happened that led up to you being able to buy that product and being able to be successful with it. What was the groundwork that you did beforehand? And then what was the things that you did as you approached that booth and after you went to that booth that led you to have success? Not that people are necessarily going to go to the Canton Fair. In a lot of cases, we'll be able to have resources for you. You'll be able to, source either on Alibaba or somewhere else. But were there any products that you sourced when you went, let's say, in October of 2014 that are winners for you right now?
Yeah, so the whole process that I kind of my process is I'm not sure if it's a little different because I really haven't talked about processes with a couple other people that I've been wanting to, only because we kind of going to China, everything was, I know you were there for a bit, so you can kind of attest to this, but it was such an experience from the perspective of it's so awesome to be around other OMGers, and not only are you talking about things that are going in China, like sourcing and visiting factories together, but also just kind of becoming better friends with them, so that you can literally you have these people on your speed dial when you have a problem or an issue. So it's really awesome to be able to spend time with those types of people, and then just like-minded people that are really brilliant. For one, I just have to say, I don't know if you've kind of released any of the details as far as what you did in China, but I just thought I don't think everybody is in for such a treat when they see what Mike Long did in China, because it was absolutely amazing. I don't really want to spoil the surprise for anybody, but what you basically did in China, Mike, was a game changer. When everybody sees what you did in China, and this is just a guy, it kind of just shows your brilliance and just what an amazing person you are, and an amazing friend, and an amazing business person, best of all. But when they see what you actually did in China, they're going to just be, it's going to be hashtag mind-blowing. So I just want to say that Mike went wild in China, and you guys are in for such an amazing treat. Just what he did was, I was blown away by the stuff that Mike accomplished in China in such little time. But to answer your question and going back to that, that just kind of got me excited about the whole thing. I kind of like approach China a little bit differently. I almost kind of approach it as like day one at the Canton Fair. I know a lot of people don't like day ones at the Canton Fair, but I approach it as like sort of a research phase. So it's sort of like when I'm going to booths at either that or the Hong Kong trade show or any trade show like that, what I'm doing is like collecting information immediately. Like, so I get in there and it's kind of like I'm looking through the Amazon pages and collecting information and writing down ideas in terms of ideas for products. So what I typically do is I go in there, I collect information, I write down everything that I think that looks interesting, and I try to kind of like walk through the fair like immediately, as quickly as I can to try to see as much of it as I can. And then what I do is like I come back to my hotel room and I sort of do research and I pick out the products that I'm really sincerely interested in. And then on the second, third, and fourth days is when I go into the booths and like talk to the people and try to like work out a deal. Fortunately, this time around I had the amazing Howard Chen, who's not here right now. I don't think he's on the call. He's probably asleep. But having a translator is not necessary, but it's absolutely like comes in. It's just such a he was such a gem, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of people at the booth where they don't have the greatest English in the world, and obviously my Mandarin really sucks. So you don't want to talk to me in Mandarin. The best Mandarin I can tell you is ni hao, and that's I know I'm not even saying it right. So having Howard there was just a tremendous help. So after I do all that initial research and then figure out what I'm going to do, I go in there and I sit down with him and I try to like see how we can differentiate the product or do something like that. Try to find a product that's a little different than everything that's out there on Amazon. So like the baking mats that Susan pointed out, I obviously don't want to get anything that looks like, I want the quality of the two that were really good, like that she pointed out, the Sil Pat and the other one, but I don't want it to look like them. I want it to be completely different. So I kind of want to talk to that with manufacturers about it and find out if like there's any additional like certifications required in the USA, things like that. And then once I kind of establish that and figure out like what I'm going to go with, I just get their information. I always like to take their catalog, and the primary reason that I like to take their catalog is for those of y'all that were on that one webinar when Jack talked about, we talked about it being like reverse sourcing, where we see what they have for sale, and then we see like maybe can we sell this on Amazon? Because you'd be surprised how many times like I think I want a product that they have, and then I go through their catalog and I see something else that catches my eye. Because a lot of these companies, they don't take everything that they sell. I mean, they're limited on booth space. The booth costs them so much money. So what I do is I like reverse source and look through their catalog, find some other things, and before you know it, let's say the 50 to 100 products that I found that were possibilities at the Canton Fair become 300 or 400 potential products. So that's kind of what I go through when I'm at the fair. And then in terms of when I get home after I like recover, the following week I start to kind of look through those catalogs and find those additional products, and then start sending out emails and collecting samples at that point. And so it probably takes like about a month process after that where I'm actually have a product selected and we have a PO in place, and I start getting products. So that's kind of just a brief rundown of what I do. It's just kind of like quick summary, but there's a lot more involved than that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the details of that. I think it's going to really going to lead to some real excitement. What I want to do is pause for a little bit of station identification here, because as I understand, we may have a stowaway, and I wanted to check just do a stowaway check. Do we have any stowaways on the line here?
It depends on who's a stowaway.
We have, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cotton the Hammer Grammer.
What's up, buddy?
Man, it's exciting.
Thought I would jump on. Yeah, I thought I would jump on really quick, doing some SEO in the background, so just logged in to listen.
Yes, get a hashtag stowaway. We're gonna see you. Me and Liz are gonna see you in just a couple weeks in Orlando.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It should be a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what's going on at the Amazon event you guys are going to, and then to get to see you guys and hang out. It'll be a lot of fun. It might be Vegas Part 2.
Oh my goodness, that would be. Liz, do you think we could handle Vegas Part 2?
Oh my God, I don't know about that. Cotton's pretty wild. I don't know if I can keep up with him. Hopefully, I'm rid of my cough by then, because I know I'll probably come across another one somehow hanging out with Cotton.
Awesome.
Liz, as your physician, I recommend lots of bed rest until then.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
All right, well let's do this. Let's do a little bit of station identification. I don't know how many people were on for Cotton's literally incredible. I mean, boy, just not just mind blowing, but really emotional and incredible assimilation webinar last week, this last Wednesday, with Stephen Floyd and Derek Awasiak, and they had over 2,800 comments in the question box. They blew the lid off of speaking of printing money, a way that you can approach organizations, let's just say, and walk in the front door with $10,000 per month worth of market rate advertising, $120,000 per year, life-changing stuff, a way that you could shape your community and change your life, change the life of other people, something that can benefit your business but also benefit your community. And so this right here that I'm looking at, and I'm gonna drop a sticker right in here. I would love for everybody. We have almost 200 people live on this event, and we need to get this thread started off right, because it's I just want to say, let's get a hashtag ready, because I want to get everybody ready for this event. Or actually, I think that the official quote is supposed to be hashtag OMG. So there's actually a few OMG stickers out there. See if we can find a good OMG sticker. So here we go. I like this sheep is pretty good. What do we got here? A ninja, kind of a ninja. For some reason, I don't know why that's an OMG ninja. I think somebody kind of keyword stuffed that. Let's see what we got here. What we got for OMG? We got the OMG unicorn. So let's get some hashtag in this particular thread that you see right here with this beautiful design with the light bulb angel. This is this week's upcoming, and the reason why this is so exciting, Cotton, this is part 2 of this incredible 2-part event. You're breaking minds. This week you actually have Fletch on as well. I know I'm going to be there. Can you give us a sneak preview of what this week's assimilation webinar is going to include?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you've told people more about the event than like we've talked about, unless you were on it. We just told people to just kind of stay hush about it, to let people show up to the event. But what it all comes down to is it's super powerful. It gives you the opportunity to actually go out and to find charities that really need help and offer them $10,000 to do so forever per month. And it's something that's incredible. But not only that, we're going to show you how to set up your own charity, how powerful it is to the most wealthy people in every city and in every metropolitan area that you're at is on a charity board, or they're involved heavily in charities. If you want to make an impact, just imagine being able to walk up to this charity and telling them that you admire what they're doing, that you're touched by what they're trying to fight for, and you want to offer them $10,000 a month in Google AdWords forever. And you don't even have to sell anything. You don't even have to do anything. Just do that. Get to know people. And what we found is you're going to be able to feel great, find your purpose. You're going to be able to watch how you light up people's faces and just make them feel amazing. But not only that, you're going to have business thrown at you. When you're the Good Samaritan that's come in and help a charity like this, you're going to be changing lives. You're going to be feeling great, and you're going to be just loading up with money yourselves. And that's how I've always wanted to do it. It's the OMG way. It's really what makes this a city on a hill. Is we're going to try to send out 300 or 400 people to help out charities that we really want to help and to make a difference. I mean, that's what it's all been about. And Mike, you kind of started this whole theme, a year ago, a city on a hill, and everyone's been behind it. It was very emotional. We had lots of people break up in tears at the last webinar. I know Stephen talking about his charity broke down and and just was very heartfelt about it. And I think this webinar is going to be a lot about that, and we're going to really get into why are you really doing this and what's your why, what's going to be your fuel for getting going. We're going to bring Fletch on. This is right up his alley, and we're all going to talk about why we're doing this and to have a way to change people's lives and to make money at the same time, because what better way is that? So that's kind of like a preview of what we're going to do, and it's going to be some pretty exciting stuff with some of the things that we have lined up.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm checking in the Facebook group. I actually have to check on my phone, and we've only got 104 comments right now in this thread. So I would literally like to see an additional 100 comments before we move on in Cotton's thread. Because this is going to be really powerful. I want you guys to show Cotton the love. So let's do a keyword love and find some love for Cotton. This one goes out to Rat Dog, let's just get Cotton some love. It's great to have him come on and join us. For this event. Obviously, OMG is a city on a hill. Everybody who is just happy that Liz is here, I will tell you, it was Cotton who actually literally reached out to Liz when we were in Vegas. Liz, I'm sure you remember when Cotton insisted, when he practically demanded that you join forces with us, that you come on board and that you start spilling the beans on the incredible wisdom that you have and the incredible things that you understand and how that's helped people. And what was that like for you to have Cotton say, man, you got woman, you got to be inside of OMG, you got to be inside helping people out.
Yeah, I think Cotton is just so awesome. The thing I kind of loved about OMG was the fact that you kind of really don't understand what it's about until you're in it. And you hear other people talking about OMG and OMG is so awesome and this, that, and then you hear Mike. You don't really understand OMG until you get in it, and then you kind of it's just so awesome to see Cotton and Mike and Joe and all these other guys, David. They care so much about each and every person that's in OMG. They kind of really do their best to make sure that everybody is successful, and it's just so awesome to be part of a community like that. And you can just see Cotton's passion for OMG when he's talking about it, when you're talking to him. I remember when I first met Cotton, which is over in the slot machine section, I can still clearly just see him talking about OMG and how much he loved OMG, and it was I could just see his passion, and it kind of just made me curious, these guys both just love OMG so much, what is OMG about? Because I'd been an original OMG, I guess you can't really say member, but it was when Greg sold his very first product with you, Mike,
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Cotton bought that one as well. It was either 47 or 97, and it was just this ebook that was I thought, which was pretty darn awesome. It came with some videos, but when you actually meet Cotton and Mike in person, you just kind of see how much they love OMG and they love the whole community, and each and every person is so important to them. They're so passionate about protecting their members and only bringing people the best things that they possibly can be. So kind of that energy is sort of infectious, and that's kind of what drew me to OMG overall, is just your passion for it, both you and Cotton's. And that's when I thought to myself, this is the perfect place for me to be a part of and be part of the community, because that's what I like to do. I like to help people out, because I was already doing it at that point, just on a smaller stage. I would kind of share a lot with Jason in his mastermind, and that's sort of where I said, you know what, I feel like OMG is a perfect fit for me in that case. So that's kind of why just you and Cotton's passion is what sort of convinced me.
I love it. Yeah, Cotton right away was recruiting. He was assimilating. He was the second you introduced him to Mike Bidler, and Mike's just been an incredible member of our community. He's made people just stand up and cheer with the stuff he's contributed on frustration-free packaging and recruiting people like Mandy to come inside, and it's really been a whole chain reaction. So this is something. This is a people helping people movement. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. So I would like everyone just to take a few moments to jump inside of this thread. This is going to be a huge, huge webinar. This is going to change people's lives. And I want folks to just jump in this thread and show your OMG love. I was actually picking out from this these in love stickers that are right here. a lot of good ones. This is Jack's cat. Patches, I think is the name. And there's all these great in love stickers here. Got a little devil here. He's in love too. So let's get some and maybe like a hashtag city on a hill. To thank Cotton, taking time out of his valuable Saturday to come on and join us in this event here. Cotton's helped so many people have such tremendous success. He's the inventor of the whole idea inside of OMG of paying it forward. And Cotton, you become my best friend and somebody so close. And I literally talk to you all the time. And really looking forward to seeing you in Orlando.
Same here. Looking forward to it. But you know what? I was never this giving before. What really taught me to be that way is how you and David have set up everything, and just from watching you. So now it's infectious, and literally I like rack my brain every week to like try to bring the best content possible to every simulation webinar, and I learned that from you. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing both of you in a couple weeks.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. And by the way, somehow, Cotton, we actually just tipped over 2,900 comments in your last assimilation thread. I think that some people got confused and started posting in there, and they put it over. This thread here is now somehow over 2,900 comments. So just kind of I think that there's lots of love all over the place, and people are feeling good. So it was a good moment for station identification. I also want to point out that tomorrow on Sunday, Fletch has his players only, no bystanders webinar. You're going to want to jump in on that. That's in your members area. You can check the latest news feed or go into your coaching area with Fletch, and that's incredible. It just started last week, and people are hugely excited by it. We also have Sunday Fun Day coming up, so there's a lot coming up in the next week. Literally plenty to be excited about. Tomorrow, Fletch's upcoming coaching webinar. I know that's going to be extremely exciting. Plus Sunday Fun Day with Gregory Ortiz, and Wednesday we're going to assimilate with Cotton. And if you haven't joined Director's Cut yet, we still have a backdoor open for a few more days. omgmachines.com/join-forces. omgmachines.com/join-forces, and that's where you can get inside of that. So Cotton, thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click back in. We're going to jump back to our main pin post thread right here, and get this part. Wow, we have 862 comments. Well, we got to make sure we get over 1,000 comments now that we're up this high. So let's get back to focusing in on product. We just had that wonderful break, hanging out with Cotton, which is always cool, always a lot of fun. And now we're going to get back with Liz and with Jack. Liz, can you start setting the tone? You're going to be spilling the beans on your particular product getting method. I know I was talking to Howard about it, and you were talking to him and Mandy when you were in China about your method, and it blew their mind. They were so excited that you're going to be sharing it inside of OMG. Can you, obviously you're going to be doing it in more of a formalized method, but can you start walking people through what that's going to look like, what the nuts and bolts of your product getting method is?
Right. It's sort of like it's a little different than what most people have grown accustomed to. But the number one thing that I always get asked is, what kind of software do I use to select products? And this is in terms of like just products alone. And the answer to that is I don't use any software. I like to actually look for stuff myself. And the primary reason for that is I see other things that are brand new, not only within Amazon. Like the other day ago, I was actually looking through Amazon with Dan Dudley and Mike Bittler, and one of the things that I noticed is Amazon has something new based on data that they're collecting from your individual account, as in terms of what you buy. Like we were looking at some kind of product, and then underneath that it said 60 other pet lovers have bought this product, or 66 pet lovers gave this 5 stars. And it was something completely new that I'd never seen. And I asked Dan, like, do you see that on your screen? He said no. So we kind of realized that it's based on like individual user information, like on all my purchases. So it now will show me like other products that pet lovers have bought that, and it identified me as a pet lover because I buy lots of stuff for chompers. So it obviously said like, hey, she spends a lot of money on her dog. Let's show her what other dog lovers rated this product 5 stars, so that it sort of like swayed me to buying the actual product. So the reason I'm kind of just mentioning that is the fact that when you start like looking for a lot of products within Amazon, you'll start to notice little things like that, and a lot of times you can figure out how those little things were actually done or created, and you can create them within your own listing. That's kind of like goes back to when people started coupon stacking. If you had been a frequent like viewer of Amazon product on Amazon and looked for products and trends, you would have seen that coupon stacking became quite popular, and it was something that you should also like be doing within your own listing. So I like to look at products myself and sort of like figure out what I'm going to sell from there. So that's one of the many methods that I actually use. Obviously, secondary methods are like I talked about, going to trade shows. In the case of going to the Canton Fair, the first day, especially like the Hong Kong Fair, I feel like the difference in product from the Hong Kong to the Canton Fair varies. Like Hong Kong tends to have more potentially like new trends and things like that. So I like to go to both, and I like to walk them and then write down ideas and then go and research them. So I kind of do a lot of research from trade shows. I also just do it generally in like everyday life when I go out shopping. Every product that I potentially see that could be something, I kind of like mark it down on my phone. So I'm constantly like product getting. I know when we were at the airport at, I think we were in the airport in Korea. It was me, you, Kevin, and Larry. Dr. Larry was there. I was actually looking at stuff in Korea, trying to see if I could write that down or if any of that stuff would sell. So it's constantly like product getting and thinking about product as I'm just like walking around every day and just participating in life. And so you'll see that there's several different methods that I actually go through, but obviously my favorite one is looking through Amazon, because you can learn so many different things about what Amazon has in store for us.
So you're kind of constantly in reconnaissance mode then.
I think we lost you, Mike.
Sorry, I was taking a bite of an energy bar. So you're kind of constantly in like recon mode, or you're like kind of like a spy, always like out there doing like, you're always researching, like not just researching, like you're always having your customer hat on, and you're looking at a product and saying, could I sell this to somebody? You see.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It kind of like reminds me of a funny story. We were somebody in China, and they were showing me like all the products that they were actually thinking of sourcing, and I'm looking and realizing like these all suck, and then all of a sudden she gets to a like a dancing, like it was something just like crazy that, and I was like, oh my God, where did you see this? And she told me, I saw this on the street. A vendor had them for 65 cents. And I told her, do you not realize that you just possibly passed up on a gold mine? Like I'm pretty sure I could sell those left and right to people in the USA. Like every product she had selected at the fair was absolutely awful, because she was like going and taking like the recommendation of what other people were telling her to do. But when I saw that little dancing guy, I was like, are you kidding me? This thing would like blow up for Christmas. And it was from a vendor on the streets in China for 65 cents.
Right.
So it's sort of like one of those things where, again, experience comes into play, but when you see like my guidelines for picking products, you'll start to get a lot of new ideas. And again, a lot of picking good products also comes down to like expectations. You don't want to set your expectations so high. We kind of like, it's kind of difficult to like, when I tell you I have a product selling like 100 units a day, you begin to like form expectations that you think like, oh, I should also, my first product should also sell 100 units a day. So then when you're selling like 5 to 10 units a day, you sort of like get disappointed because you're like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I can't sell 100 units a day. We're not realizing that 5 to 10 units is pretty darn good, because you might not realize it, but you're making $70 of profit a day. Where else are you going to get $70 of profit a day on something, just one product? So now if you think about it in like longer terms, now if I can get 10 more products like that, no longer am I making $70 a day, but now I'm making $700 a day, and it becomes kind of game changing.
All right. Yeah, I think that this uh, because at the end of the day, right now, your little mini empire is several dozen products. What is it, around somewhere less than 50 products? Or how many do you have out right now?
It was at 43 before I left for China, but I had 9 sitting around, so it's technically like 52. And then I just picked up with Howard, who is helping me out a bunch. Like we picked up 12, so we've got 12 right now in the works, and I still haven't gone through my catalog. So I imagine it'd be about another 150 after that 12. Because now I've got the whole process down, so I'm so much more confident when I go there. I know how to execute. I have a plan on how to execute, and I've got like a partner that has the money, is backing with all the money in case we kind of need some more. So it's all put in place off of like the 2.5 years that I've been doing this. So again, it's like as soon as you go to the Canton Fair, like so many times you sort of like develop a system for it, and it becomes just that much more powerful when you get back home from it. Whereas the first time, if you don't actually know how to navigate it too well, you're a little bit like overwhelmed. And it's kind of scary. I mean, it is like, it's so massive. I don't know if you were like prepared for the size of it, Mike, or I think Ty has been there before, but it's sort of like quite massive, and you sort of like don't even know where to begin at some point. There's just so many different things you can actually do and look at, and then there's 3 phases of it, so it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It is pretty overwhelming, and yet, even though the show is big, even if you say you walked away with 12 products, I mean, how many booths did you visit? How many factories? How many? I mean, you literally visited like thousands of vendors, and each of those vendors was typically selling at least a few items. So you actually like looked at thousands and thousands and thousands of items and boiled it down to 12.
Yeah, those 12 are just the first. Those 12 were actually from factories that we visited. The rest of the items that I was talking about, I haven't even gone through because they're still sitting in the catalogs. And like I said, I do like a lot of reverse sourcing out of the catalogs. So I might have written down, say, a total of like 40 products from those catalogs. That I got them originally for the purpose of those 40 products. But my estimation is that I'll find at least 100 to 150 out of like all those catalogs combined, based off of looking through the catalogs and seeing their other products, because again, they don't take all their products to the booth, so they only take so many because of space.
On a previous webinar we did with Jack, Jack, you talked about when you're like looking at product sourcing, you might be like product getting, you might be looking on say page 1 of Google, and then it may not be on page 1, it may not be even on page 3 or page 5, it might be on page 7 or 12 or 15 or 19, or who cares, because you're not, the name of the game isn't walking up to the first booth at the Canton Fair, and the first product you see makes you a millionaire, or when you do a Google search, that product 1, position 1, just sitting there like with a big pink bow tie, is your first $1 million product. I mean, it's not really the way it works. Really, the gold is in chunking down and delving into things and picking through and like looking for uh, you know winners that other people may be overlooking.
Right. No, I mean, I think the way that Liz is approaching, like the information that she gathered from the Canton Fair is just, it's very plain genius. Like expanding on things that she saw that were quality from specific factories. It's very possible that that quality runs throughout other products that they make. And when it comes to sourcing, like with the method you were just talking about, going to Google, you got to understand that in a lot of cases their focus is not necessarily on how well they're advertising within Google. So I dig as deep as I possibly can, because that's where you're going to find the gems. And that's where, if you think of what most people do, like if they're looking for a supplier, they're probably going to bombard the top page, or the first page of Google, the second page of Google, third page of Google maybe, but they're not going to dig as deep as I dig in order to get all of the opportunity. And they're not going to dig as deep as Liz is digging to find all the opportunity. They're going to stop at a certain point, and then they're going to roll the dice with that right there, as opposed to analyzing the entire opportunity. And like where I initially came into this picture, I was saying take the blinders off. Look past what normal people do. Like look past the first, second, third page of Google. Dig deep and find all of the potential suppliers, because that's where you're going to find your gems.
It's going to hashtag blinders off. I really want people to understand this. Again, it's not. Again, these pat formulas that are out there, the idea that you're just going to pick, a top 100 BSR product, private label it, have your friends and family give you reviews, and then you're going to be a millionaire. That's just not the way it works, and that's good news. That's good news, because if that was the system, it would become saturated very quickly, and it really wouldn't be very effective. It wouldn't be something that you could count on. In the same way, me and Jack and Liz went to a different event. I think Ty was there as well, where the idea was to sell junk, literally to sell junk, just to sell absolute junk, and then that was fine. Just take as much junk as you can, list it on Amazon, and it's junk, so it's not hard to compete for. You don't even need reviews or whatever, because you automatically rank number one for hula hoop bottle opener or whatever. I don't know what. Just something just completely ridiculous, and that doesn't work either. We're going for we're not going to do either of those formulas. What we are going to do is take the blinders off. We want to be able to look deeper, to get a sense for what people are already buying and what's a little bit offbeat, what's a little bit different than that. Maybe something is normally for women, but you could sell it to men. Maybe it's normally for young people, but it turns out that older people are buying it. It's actually kind of a funny thing. I was reading an article about Whole Foods, and Whole Foods is just now finding out that millennials don't want to spend money at Whole Foods because they don't have it. And so now Whole Foods is rethinking. Millennials are people in probably in their maybe 20s or early 30s right now would be that age range. That's the kind of millennial generation. Be the one, I guess, before me and Jack and Liz, and so just having that understanding, even businesses like Whole Foods, they just get it. They're like, oh, well, guess what? It's not happening. That they don't want to come to Whole Foods as they have it set up right now and spend an extra couple of dollars on every product or an extra $5 on every product. They're not willing to do it, to quote unquote save the world or whatever. They don't have the money. That there's massive underemployment amongst people of that age range and so forth. They don't have the money. They have all their student debt and so on, and it's just kind of rough for them. So wherever, and there really is, by the way, a myth that millennials would just frequent Whole Foods and that they would mob Whole Foods and spend all this money there. But in reality, that myth is not true. It's not reality. It's not what's going on there. And so, you can have a positioning. You can say, well, let's do a Whole Foods for millennials, where we're just, it might be, something more positioned like Trader Joe's or whatever. And again, I'm giving you a big box example, but this, the bottom line is that we can get all of the traffic in the world on Amazon, but we have to have the positioning correct with these products. So, just ordering the same product. Liz, you and I were looking at, were just looking at a product with Howard, and you and Howard went to a factory, and we think ultimately what may turn out being is that factory is the number one person on Amazon, and they're not going to cut us the deal that we need to compete with them. It's not going to happen. We are going to have to find a different positioning altogether if we're going to go after that item category.
Right, and we saw that when we were kind of like investigating the niche and trying to figure out what kind of samples we wanted. At first, they kind of like hit us with the fact that they had like really superior quality to like everyone else, and we kind of said, okay, we sort of agree with that. But then when we looked at the niche itself and kind of like sort of like saw their pictures versus what the top sellers on Amazon were doing, that's when we kind of came to the realization that, I mean, to begin with, their actual style's already on there, so either, like you said, they are the number one guy, or they didn't take any like unique approach and they sort of just copied the number one people on Amazon. So now we have to think, like you said, of a totally different angle, because it's important. Like, you don't want to just, like we talked about the silicone baking mats, you don't just want to sell the silicone baking mats that are at the top of Amazon, because then you're not differentiating your product. Even if you put your own logo, it's still not making it different than what's on Amazon. You sort of want to do something special so that you stand out. At the same time, still giving the people like a quality product. So it's always important to take a look at, get samples and see what they look like, and kind of test them out.
All right, great. Well, I think we can all tell that Liz's voice is pretty much given out on her, and if we keep pushing her on this event, she'll get sick and she'll never be able to make those product getting videos. So I think at this point it's wise for us to wrap things up. So let's have everybody on. They give hashtag get well for Liz. We definitely want Liz to be able to recover and to get well. And I think that today's been an incredible event for people understanding what's going on, what the opportunity is out there, and to really start, as we move into this kind of product getting blueprint and sharing my experiences from China, Liz's experience with product getting. Jack's been chiming in. That's been incredible. By the way, I wanted to point out that I got a testimonial from Alice. I saw Alice post. Alice and her husband's products are up 30% since they got pointers from Jack on Amazon pay-per-click. So definitely make sure to dig into that Amazon pay-per-click module. Alice is already having huge success because of it, and it's crazy not to dig in there. So you're definitely going to want to do. Definitely going to want to do that really, really well. I want to make sure. Let's get everybody. I want to thank Liz for coming on. She's just fresh back from China. She hasn't even been back a week. She's still sick, still getting over everything. Let's get some love for Liz. Let's get some stickers for Liz. Liz loves stickers, so let's get as many stickers as possible. We got a good one from Neural as a little bit of a sticker ace there. Let's get Liz lots of love from the sticker department here. So let's see what else we got here. This is a frog who's in love, I guess. I like it when the comments are coming in so fast. It's almost hard to keep up. Let's see here. What else? What other loves? Wow, it's really going fast right now, actually. Liz, they love you. Look at this. This is a hashtag stickers, Liz.
I know, I love it. It's awesome.
What
was that, Jack?
Thank you, Jack.
I said, why wouldn't they love her?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You acted surprised. Is all I'm saying.
I'm surprised. I ain't surprised.
I ain't surprised either.
Yeah. By the way, Jack, we're gonna be out in Orlando in a couple weeks. If you can rent yourself away, I'll give you the details.
I might be able to. I'm working with Dan this next week, so that's all tentative. So.
No, of course, yeah, and we our prayers are going out to him. All right, and so let's thank Liz, and I also want to thank Jack for just coming on here. It's been literally incredible today. So let's get thanks Elizabeth Herrera for coming on, and I want to thank Jack Harvell. Also want to thank Susan Ann McDowell. One of the biggest questions we get is how do I find Susan? Well, that's how you find her, right there. I want to thank Ty, and of course, let's thank Con the Hammer Grammar.
Hey, and Mike, while we're at it, let's thank Alice and Samuel because you just mentioned them about what they're doing. They are following everything to a T, and that's like one of the most important things of the training that we put in there is that people need to follow it, and they need to follow it in the same manner in which we're putting it out, and they're doing so in the exact fashion in which they should be. They're testing everything. And they're really, the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because of the fact that they're taking the advice and they're running with it, and they're not taking the way that this is designed is saying that we want you to take these strategies and apply them to your listing with the understanding that you need to test what it is that we're telling you to do, and not just take it as blind, like just, oh, I'm going to put some keywords in there, and if they don't work, then this doesn't work. That's not what they're doing. They're going in and they're testing and they're getting the information back, and they're analyzing it. And she's been asking questions and saying, well, what about this and what about that? And I'll get back to them and answer those questions. But I'm answering those questions because they're actually getting out there and they're doing the work and they're taking action. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, let's get some action in there. So this has been, I just think, our best event yet. I really hope that kind of to review, we really focused in on cash flow. So let's get another hashtag just to kind of get recentered. Hashtag cash flow. Okay, we talked about cash flow, or there's like a lot of little cash guys on here. Cash. This is a cash guy, or maybe you could try money. I don't know. What do they have for money? Same guy's a little piggy bank guy. So let's kind of recenter where we went with this event. We looked at cash flow. We looked at these equations, right? There's a huge difference between these kind of flat line growth, and by the way, this is still growth, at least that's something to be proud of. But how quickly you can ramp up, with the better methodologies, and also, remember we've got that, inside of the blueprint I talk about. Not just spending your own money, but both Liz and Jack are using they're using partners to help augment their ability to grow. And so cash flow is a huge part of what we're looking at. Really starting to see things from a cash flow perspective. Another thing, old adage in businesses, especially physical product business, cash is king. Okay. That's kind of a classic idea in a physical product-based business. That's how I got my start. I really understand this. Cash is king. Cash really, really matters when it comes to Amazon and e-commerce. So really getting cash flow down, understanding cash flow, that was one of the big things we focused on. We also were able to visualize what $1 million month looks like. So let's get a hashtag $1 million month out there as well. Just to kind of, what I want to do is kind of walk back through the lessons that we had on this event, the big high points, the big aha moments, that $1 million month. Just imagining Liz just waking up. It's December 15th. Her eyes just flash open, and that big, huge grin explodes on her face. And she's out there, and she's packing tape and getting mailers, and the UPS trucks are coming and going. She's mailing out more stuff than the entire side of her half of the city. She's just going absolutely, completely nuts. Jack, what's it like day in the life? He wakes up, his eyes, boom, laser sharp, ready to go. He's thinking traffic, traffic, traffic. He's split testing headlines. What that means is he knows what the performance was before, what his conversion percentage was before. Now he changes just the headline, only the headline. What's the performance? Dials it in. Okay, now we've finally got a good headline locked in. Now let's change our bullets. So what are we talking about? Hashtag product from Liz and hashtag traffic. All right, for Jack. So there we go. Hashtag product and hashtag traffic. Like, really, I want you to be engaged in what we talked about. I know it can all seem like a blur. We've been on for 2.5 hours, but like, let's lock in. Let's go back in and look at what we did, and rebuild from the core of things. All right. Of course, we also took pause for station identification. I want to point out that we have upcoming this week. We have our wonderful. Scroll back up to the top here. We have coming on Wednesday. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Brian at his first $10,000 month. Congratulations, Brian. Real proud of you. Got to meet Brian in Vegas and then at OMG Live Nashville. This is Cotton's upcoming assimilation webinar, and I hope that you guys will all come and attend that and join in on that. So let's do a hashtag assimilate. All right, so give us a hashtag assimilate for Cotton. Certainly want to. It's going to be very, very, very exciting. The first part of that event was completely nuts. completely nuts. I was on there. It was very emotional. People were crying, just life changing, and this event is going to ramp it up to a whole nother level. So getting ready to assimilate with cotton. Also tomorrow, we've got Fletch. Actually, let's break Fletch's phone. Got to just tag Fletch because tomorrow Fletch has his players only, hashtag players only. So tag Fletch in a post. Want to make sure that Fletch knows that we're thinking about him on Saturday as he's gearing up for Sunday as his players only. No bystanders are allowed. You have to be in the game to jump in with Fletch. Break his phone. He's walking around right now with his family. He's got too much time on his hands. He's only got 3 daughters. He's got way too much time. He's thinking, man, what am I going to do with my Saturday? Let's blow up Fletch's phone. I believe that if we can get 100 notifications, that will actually break his phone, and he'll have to go out and buy the new iPhone, and that's going to be great for him. He wants a new iPhone. So help break Fletch's phone, and he should be exploding with notifications right now, letting everyone know that he's literally going to have a lot of people on with him tomorrow for his players only webinar. That's going to be tremendous. There's also Sunday Fun Day tomorrow as well with Gregory Ortiz. Gregory Ortiz has got Sunday Fun Day, so yeah, hashtag Sunday Fun Day. And so that's going to be exciting as well. Lots and lots and lots going on inside of OMG. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. And finally, what we really ended the event with, what we really ended up talking about is just like Jack says, taking the blinders off. All right, so hashtag blinders off. Let's become recentered to that. Liz talked about it. The basis of her product getting mode is she is always researching. She's on Amazon. She's digging through what are the new products that are coming out. What are the different offbeat categories that other people are not looking at? Constantly building a new spreadsheet of different products, different categories, not just top 100 stuff. Constantly asking yourself, what angle could I take on things that's literally different than what other people are taking? Let's do a hashtag angle, right? Got to be quit angle. Hashtag angle. Don't mean to. Yeah, it's going to blow up poor quit angle. Yeah, it's not going to work. Hashtag. I'll do hashtag cool angle. All right. Think about taking a different angle on things. Think about taking a different approach to things. Coming in strategic, okay? I'll put it another way. To put it the way that David Mills would put it, hashtag win, then attack. Okay? Hashtag win, then attack. Win first, then go on the attack. Win first, then spend your product money. All right? Win, then attack. That's what Liz is saying. That's what Jack is saying. So what I want to do at this point is give everyone a chance to put out their last word. Let's start with Ty. Ty, if you're still around, please unmute yourself. Do you have any last words for folks? You were in China. You walked around. Anything that you want to say? Any thoughts that are on your mind?
Wow, you put me on the spot there. Sorry, I was busy doing my hashtag thing.
I do.
I don't know
on the spot. This is something you got to know about me when it comes to these webinars.
Yeah. I just want to say that I'm really glad to be in this community, and I've been doing Amazon for I don't know. I mean, I think a little bit less than Liz. And so any questions regarding like Amazon or the back end or anything like that, I'd love to help and just be of service to people in the community. Mike, you've been a great service to me. Liz has been a great service to me. Already. And so I'm just happy to be here and happy to help.
Well, we're literally very, very happy to have you, Ty, inside of OMG, and actually some of the videos that I made up in our documentary when we were on the road in China got a couple of platinum hits from Ty there. So really, really glad to have you as a part of OMG. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. You're a friend of mine, Ty, and we're really glad to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
All right, Susan Ann McDowell, any final words?
I guess just to bring it back to product, to remember that, you know, private labeling on Amazon is not selling the same thing as everybody else just with your logo on it. That when you're thinking about product, think about what your unique selling proposition is and what this product can bring to the market. That's a little different because, you know, that's the way you'll make a difference with a customer, and you'll make that cash flow for yourself.
That's a great point. Unique selling proposition. Let's get a hashtag USP. Unique selling proposition. What makes you stand out? Like when we're saying win then attack, what makes you stand out? That's your unique selling proposition. What's the angle that you're taking? How did you win first, then attack? All right, that's what Susan's saying. You know, instead of just walking in with the same product that everybody else has, you know, in a glutted marketplace, a bloated marketplace where we're literally flat-footed, how do we come in? Hashtag unique selling proposition. I'm going to give Susan Ann McDowell a sticker for that because that was a great one. Let's eat a hamburger for Susan. Actually, Susan deserves a beer. It's, you know, it's Saturday. Let's everybody buy Susan a beer.
Scotch, Mike, Scotch.
I know. I don't think they have Scotch on here.
Then wine. I'll take wine.
Have you tried hard cider yet?
Yes, I do like hard cider.
All right,
I do like hard cider.
All right, so buy Susan Ann McDowell hard cider. It looks like beer.
But just one example, Liz and I were chatting about this before, the silicone baking mat, it's not necessarily that you can't do it. It just has to be different. Like maybe you need to do a round one for cake pans. It's what's different. You know, you just can't do the same thing as everybody else. So that doesn't mean if you fall in love with the product, you can't do it. You just need to figure out how to make it unique and yours.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Cotton, any last words from you?
Oh, actually, I was just listening, and you know, I like didn't know that we had Tia on. I was just messaging her back and forth on Facebook, and said I was happy to see her. What an amazing person she is. I got a chance to talk to her in Vegas for about an hour, and what an asset to have her aboard to be helping people with Amazon as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm literally thrilled to have Ty on. She's firm, but she's fair. She really, you know, she'll tell you what's really going on, and she comes from the heart, but with a lot of warmth, and we're real excited to have her in. So that's a great way of you know, welcoming her. Really excited. Let's all. I really want to welcome Ty. Let's welcome her. Let's get 100. We still have almost 150 people live on this event that have stuck it out with us. Let's give Ty a warm welcome. She just has a lot of experience. She's a tough customer, but you know, she really wears her heart on her sleeve. She was actually Cotton. I didn't know about this. She actually. Ty, did you used to have like some sort of a police research background? What was the deal with that?
Oh, so basically, I used to work for the police. Can you hear me? Yeah, I used to work for the police. And so I was like officer support. So pretty much anything that they needed that was not dispatch, they would come to my office to get help with or whatever, whether it was research for a suspect or for a victim or for a warrant or for a lot of different things or whatever. My department handled all of that. So we were like pretty much the backbone of the police department, other than dispatch, which is a hard job in itself also.
Let's give Ty a hashtag tough customer, because she is a tough customer, and we are really excited to have her as part of. That's a pretty cool background, right, Cotton?
Right, and you know what's funny is tough customer. Outside of meeting Liz, the person that I remember the most from the whole trip was her, because I thought she was assimilation proof. Like I was trying to sell her OMG and tell her what was going on, and she was just giving me the side, saying, "I don't know about you. I'm gonna have to look into you." And so, so I'm like glad that she dug in a little deeper, and then just see how warm and welcoming everyone is here in OMG, and how helping everyone is. And just I like that she's going to be able to help a lot of people, and it's going to be very exciting to have her here.
Awesome, awesome. I totally agree. And just so everybody knows, you can't get around Cotton without getting assimilated into OMG. He'll get you in his tractor beam sooner or later. Um, Jack, can we get the last word from you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Man, just I've only been on here for about an hour and hour and a half, and already getting all kinds of awesome information, good stuff. It's just a lot of things that Liz is saying, and like that, and what you were saying before. It's all just proof that the processes that we're using, they work really well in Amazon. And as long as you follow them, as long as you dig into the training that we have available and the training that's coming out, you'll have a significant advantage over anybody else on Amazon. And as long as you're differentiating yourself, like Susan McDowell was saying, from on all fronts, like, and that includes customer service, making sure that your customers know that you actually care about them and you care that they're getting a quality product. You really can't go wrong, as far as seeing success on Amazon. So I'm really excited to be in the community. I'm really excited to hear people going out and doing the things that we're teaching and having success. It's awesome.
Yeah, Chuck just put in hashtag differentiate, and I'd love everyone to type in hashtag differentiate. Liz talked about it. She gets out there and she does it herself. She does her own customer service. She does her own packing and shipping. She's not afraid to get her fingernails dirty. I'm not saying you have dirty fingernails, by the way, Liz. I know they're very beautiful and immaculate, but your metaphorical fingernails dirty. She's not afraid at all to get in there and to roll up her sleeves and kick some butt. The very first time I talked to her, I don't mind telling you guys that I told her that she's a badass, and she really is. And Jack's a badass too. He just told you. You got to handle that nitty gritty stuff. Give me a hashtag differentiate. If the difference between you having stop and start success and you crushing it is you having to roll up your sleeves and do some customer service. If you're willing to do that, give me a hashtag differentiate. If the difference between you halting and stuttering and being weak with your business or being bold and powerful, if that difference is looking on page 2, page 5, page 7, page 17 of Google for a product supplier, then give me a hashtag differentiate. All right. If you don't mind looking a little deeper, digging a little bit deeper, just walking through your customer's experience in your head, imagining what it's like for your customer to wake up in the morning and they're getting out of bed. Maybe you're in the pet market and they have a dog like Rat Dog or like Chompers or like Axl Rose, and they are a very committed pet owner. Then what's it like? They see their little dog or little cat in the morning, and that brings a smile to their face, and they're getting ready to go to work, and what's going on for them, what's their posture like, what are the facts of their life, what do their friends say about their dog or their cat. Look, really, if you're willing to walk through a day in the life, a week in the life of your customer, if you're willing to say what happened before my customer purchased my product, what led to that, what was the thing on my listing that differentiated me, that made that person say, hey, I want to buy a special collar for Axl Rose. I want to get this Christmas sweater for Chompers. I want to get this little doggy jacuzzi for Rat Dog. What was it that made that person? What was it that made that point of differentiation? So let's get a hashtag differentiate if that strikes a chord for you. That strikes a chord for you. Let's get a hashtag differentiate, because I think, Jack, that's what you're saying. I think your final word is, hey, let's differentiate here.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Liz, the final word to you.
Just my final word is like just the importance of like community and kind of becoming friends with everybody that's in this community, and not just that, but like feeling like, for example, I was in here. My voice might not be any good, but I was answering everybody's questions. In fact, I had a conversation with Christopher Lee, um, pretty funny, and answered as many questions as I possibly could here to try to help everybody as much as I can, because there's no like bad question. So just kind of getting to know people, getting in the Facebook group and asking your questions there, because your question might actually change things for somebody that's afraid to ask it. So it's just important, like when you see us like out, like we go to like a lot of events and stuff like that and hanging out, like come over and say hi. I know Eric came and say hi to us. That was freaking awesome to see that he was doing so well. That kind of like inspired me to kind of crank out more videos and get well and do as much things as I could do to help other people, because that's like badass when somebody comes up to you and they tell you like, thanks for your tips. I just made $10,000 in a month, and like I'm retired. I'm 64 years old. That was just so awesome and inspiring to me. It literally like got me like all teary-eyed. So that was like just really kind of sort of like the highlight so far, other than getting to know all these people in OMG. So, like I said, when you're around, just come say hi, or just, just post your question. I think posting your question in the Facebook groups does a lot better than sending like a private message, only because, like I said, like I constantly answer those, and I feel like it's a way to help other people out there that might be like wanting to read it, and just kind of like start like engagement in the actual board itself. So that's kind of like really like the last thing that I have to say about everything. 'Cause I'm kind of losing my voice, so I'll
Definitely.
go on, but that's it.
Well, it's a couple comments I have about that. Number one, Eric Arnault came all the way out to Hong Kong in part to thank me and Liz. And he's been a part of the Amazon training. He's gotten guidance from Brad Mabry and watched the videos with Mike Bittler and with Jack and so forth. I want to congratulate Eric. Eric just hit his first $10,000 month. He's literally thrilled. So let's congratulate Eric. I know it'll make him feel like $1,000,000. 64 years old, his first $10,000 month. Hadn't made any money in 2 years. Before that, he'd been just struggling, and it's just really exciting. It's really exciting. So let's celebrate with Eric. Let's get a bunch of congratulations to Eric. If he wakes up today and he's got 10 congratulations, don't you think that that's going to feel really great for him? That he worked so hard and made it happen and flew all the way out to Hong Kong and he was just sitting there in my hotel lobby, like waiting for me. I walked past him. He said, "Mike," and he just there he was, just sitting right there. I'll show you his picture. I'll pull it up for you. He was sitting right there on a couch, and he pulled me and Liz over. He actually had a nice blanket that he brought out for Liz. He got me this gigantic bowl that I couldn't pack. But anyways, it was very nice of him. But anyways, he came out and just humble and polite and passionate and thanked Liz and thanked me and thanked Brad Mabry and Mike Bittler and everybody inside of OMG who's been helping him. And just really wonderful experience for us. And what Liz is saying is that OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. We do things a little bit different here. So this is a community that we're putting together. It's friends helping friends. It's a pay it forward situation. So I'd love to close this out. We still have 140 people on right now. I'd love to see 140 city on a hills.
Hey, Mike, and one more thing with that is like I think I can, and I know everybody else that was on the trip can say this has been the most fun trip to China like ever. In the previous 2 times that I've gone, it was kind of like just sort of like boring almost. But as a result, like we kind of did it like we did China OMG style, and we had such an amazing time. It's going to be hard to top off the amount of fun that we had on this trip, but we're certainly going to try the next time we hit China.
I love it. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. It's a place. OMG is like a success cocoon, and it grows as OMG grows. And unlike a traditional cocoon that the caterpillar has to discard when it becomes a butterfly and flies off, OMG continues to expand and nurture and grow to become more powerful around you. And it can be anywhere in the world. It can be in China. It can be in Hong Kong. It can be in Orlando. It can be in Tokyo. It can be anywhere in the world where an OMGer is. It's something that we're very serious about. We're very passionate about. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where we come together in providence, in success, in triumph. Where somebody like Alice, who's having this new success, we're really excited about Alice's new success. Following the steps that Jack gave her, and really increasing and ramping things up with her husband. I mean, that to me is just literally awesome. That Eric is having the success that he's having, and that OMGers are coming together. In China, that we had. That we had Ty there, and Liz was there, and Mike Bittler was there, and Kev and Jen, they're OMGers. They're incredible people. I cannot wait for you to meet them. That's going to be like literally massive. We just so many people there that were just giving of their hearts, and old OMGers, new OMGers, and just such a wonderful event that's come together for us. Like I said, OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. We had Hong Kong Larry there, which was a wonderful experience. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody. This has been an amazing event. Tons of terrific energy, and another OMG classic. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. God bless you guys. We will see you next time for the Amazon Q&A that'll be right around the corner, probably be in about 2 weeks.